1.
All right. Thanks, Carmen. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our final Habitat Council and budget meeting for the morning. And we appreciate you all being here. Feel free to razz the wildlife chief as much as possible because he's not here in person. And so Blake is here. And so it's great. It's great to have you all here or online. So. Before we jump in, let's go to a round of introductions at the table, and we'll start over here.
I'm Alison. I'm the Habitat Conservation Coordinator for Fish and Wildlife. Melissa Landine, I'm the Habitat Conservation Program Biologist.
Tyler Thompson, Watershed Program Director.
Blake Millett, Sport Fishing Representative.
Jeremiah Cornell, Waterfowl Representative.
Angie Monica.
Austin Atkinson, representing Big Game.
Drew Cushing, Aquatic Section Chief for the division.
And I'm Eric Edgley, the Habitat Section Chief for the division.
Daniel Eddington, the Assistant Habitat Section Chief.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Before we jump in, Kobe, tell us who you are.
Kobe Jones, Wildlife Section Chief, appearing online, but paying attention.
Not watching movies.
No.
All right. So the next order of business here, we need to get a motion to approve our previous meeting notes, which includes motions made. If there's any adjustments, let us know. But otherwise, accept the motion.
Motion approved. Second.
I've got a motion from Blake to approve. Got a second from Tyler. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay. Thank you for that. So our agenda today is kind of short, but we do have a couple of projects. We do have a couple of habitat management plans, and we're going to start the East Canyon WMA Habitat Management Plan. Melissa Early from the Northern Regions here to present that, and we'll let you go for it.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Melissa Early, Habitat Manager in the Northern Region, and I'm going to be talking about the East Canyon Wildlife Management Area Habitat Management Plan update. Next. So first, a closer look at this wildlife management area. The East Canyon WMA is located outside of Morgan, Utah, across from East Canyon State Park and East Canyon Reservoir, and it includes 5,846 acres total. And the main goals are to preserve and protect big game winter range and wintry wildlife, to reduce deer and elk depredation on surrounding private property, to provide public access for hunting and other wildlife related recreation. And I mentioned that most of it is in Morgan County, but 261 acres are actually in Summit County. Okay, next. So all our work on WMAs is framed within the management of division lands through Utah code and administrative rules. And I mentioned that this WMA is located across from state parks and then actually surrounds the new state parks parcel. So just wanted to point out that while Utah State Parks manages adjacent lands for general recreation, the primary purpose of this WMA is to protect and enhance wildlife habitats and watersheds. And we meet these objectives by increasing fish and game populations, recovering species of conservation concern, and providing the public with diverse wildlife-related recreational opportunities. And I mentioned our administrative rules that we follow, and failure to comply with these could result in significant issues. Just wanted to highlight that it's not a primary objective for these properties to be managed for other non-wildlife uses, and division lands are managed in accordance with the Habitat Management Plan's requirements, also as outlined in our rules. Next. let's dive deeper into the habitat management plan process. So per Utah Code 23A-6-301, every WMA must have a habitat plan. These plans include details about proposed or anticipated uses, management limitations or conditions, all existing conditions, desired future condition of the area, strategies to achieve conditions, and any reallocated forage, water, or other resources. So each WMA across the state is governed by one of these plans. And this plan, this was our update because it last been updated in 2015. And yeah, important to mention too that a lot of WMAs operate on seasonal closures due to winter range, as do this one. Okay, next. So updating the plan. So in summer 2025, the DWR formed a committee to update the 2015 East Canyon HMP due to the Golden Hills parcel acquisition. So let's, next please. Let's look more at the acquisition of this Golden Hills parcel. So in summer 2024, with funding from several sources, including the Utah legislature, who contributed 8.5 million, state parks and DWR each contributed matching contributions totaling 10 million. And within that, of the DWR's contribution, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation contributed 1.3 million. So purchased this Golden Hills parcel, added on about 2,600 acres total to the property, and then DWR and state parks agreed to collaboratively determine the acreage for the new state parks parcel. So this was accomplished through input from the stakeholder committee and through a series of meetings in summer 2025. Participants wanted to protect the crucial wildlife habitat of the WMA and also increase recreation within the state parks parcel. So that's how the acreage was determined, and state parks received about 689 acres total for their new parks parcel, and then the WMA some significant acreage added on to East Canyon WMA. We'll get to the map in a minute, but also wanted to point out that this parcel is very significant for cultural reasons too, because of the Mormon Pioneer Trail, the Pony Express Trail, and California Trail. Next. So let's look a little deeper into the habitat of the WMA. So this shows the entire East Canyon WMA, and then this is the new state parks parcel. And then across the road, we have East Canyon Reservoir, and we have more state parks area here too. The migration corridor highlighted in yellow, that shows some known mule deer migration from our wildlife tracker collar data. Now, we put more collars out this past year, so we'll see if more animals are using that path. But we do have some connection from the East Canyon WMA as far away as Echo Junction, and some mule deer migrating that far, which is the crow flies is not too far. Also wanted to point out these active sage grouse leks here, and then this one on the Hennifer Divide. So this is within new acreage within the East Canyon WMA, the eastern side. So we refer to this as the Golden Hills parcel. This side is known as the original Red Rock Canyon side of the WMA. So just awesome to have these additional acres here in this property. Next. So there's some key habitat types on the WMA, including terrestrial habitat, aspen conifer, mountain sagebrush, lowland sagebrush, lower montane mixed conifer, like juniper, subalpine grassland, mountain sagebrush, mountain shrub, and then a little bit of aquatic key habitat, wetlands, streams. Red Rock Creek has a little bit of water, and then some springs throughout the property too. Next. So many of the habitats on the WMA are in relatively good condition. There are some areas that are in poor to fair condition that need restoration using a variety of methods, such as biocontrols on invasive species, some targeted herbicide, shrub planting, and future targeted grazing. Vegetation is characteristic of the mountain brush and juniper woodland communities with bunch grasses, sagebrush, bitterbrush, juniper, gamble oak, maple, and even aspen at the highest elevations. Also, mountain mahogany is found on the ridgetops. Seeps and springs are dominated by cottonwood willow and wild rose. In both the Unit 5 deer and elk management plans discuss improving winter range and working with private landowners that are not far from this WMA to improve habitat on private land too, and that is occurring. Next. So habitat priorities. We'd like to improve water availability and distribution, restore and enhance riparian areas like streams, wetlands, and springs, work on spring development, use low-tech process-based restoration methods like zeolite structures, decrease wildland fire risk and fuel loading. There are areas of invasive grasses to treat and to reduce invasive weeds. Implementing a travel management plan is part of our HMP update with their trails. This WMA is entirely non-motorized, so they're foot trails, horse trails, and within our new Golden Hills parcel, there's some 2 tracks, and that was private land. So we are deciding which ones we are adopting as official trails, and then we're going to go in and restore spur routes and have a really clear travel management plan to keep the established trails there and not allow new ones to pop up. So I mentioned the restoring user-created spur routes, and also all of this big picture is about improving sagebrush and bitterbrush for big game and also sage grouse. Next. So livestock grazing, per our administrative rule 657-28-5, the DWR can authorize domestic livestock grazing on DWR lands that's necessary to maintain or improve wildlife habitat. The WMA has historically been grazed with cattle and sheep. Managers tried cattle grazing to achieve desired habitat conditions on the Red Rock Canyon side of the WMA in the past, like to reduce annual invasive grasses. There were challenges keeping cattle out of the creek area and on the hillside. Sheep grazing occurred historically on the Golden Hills parcel. The Golden Hills parcel has been resting since summer 2025. The habitat section is currently evaluating habitat conditions while it's being rested and looking at infrastructure needs. There are sections of very old fence that would not really contain anything at this point. But within the next few years, DWR plans to use grazing as one of the tools in our toolbox for habitat treatment, habitat restoration, targeting annual grasses, and yeah, continue with that. Next. WMA travel and access map. So just to point out again, the Red Rock Canyon side, the original part of the WMA, this is the Golden Hills side. This is all within the sage grouse management area, the Rich Morgan Summit sage grouse management area. So there's currently some like spur routes in here that we will be restoring for sage grouse habitat, and just having a map shows like the delineation of our official trails, and also shows this utility corridor here, which is a foot and horse trail. And having a map like this will help us to very clearly know what is an official trail that we recognize, and to deal with anything that like pops up like a user created trail. And then State Parks is working on their own access plan and recreation plan. And I know they're planning to do more their mountain biking course, campground, and multiple use recreation. And then important too to point out, this red line here is the historic Pioneer Trail, which goes through those properties. Okay, next. There's a variety of game species on the WMA, from chukar, moose, elk, mule deer, dusky grouse, turkey, and rough grouse. Next. So this snapshot from Wildlife Tracker is included just to illustrate points that we have across like all our data in this area of elk and sage grouse and mule deer. I'm just showing just the use, and wildlife don't know property boundaries. So throughout the whole area, there's you can see a lot of sage grouse concentrated up here. The Hennifer Echo or Hennifer Divide Lek is over here. And then in the new parcel, the Golden Hills part of the WMA, that sage grouse activity. And then elk scattered throughout the property, and deer as well. Okay, next. So elk on the WMA. This is critical winter range. There's a fall and spring migration. This WMA connects summer and winter range. There's relatively low density summer use, but during the winter, 400 to 500 elk are using this WMA. Some of this is weather dependent. Timing of migration depends heavily on weather conditions. And there are some resident elk here too. There are about 60 to 100 resident elk that stay on the property and also use the private property nearby. Next. So mule deer, critical winter and transitional range, similar patterns to elk, but deer are exhibiting more summer use or fall and spring migration, less winter use. And you can see in the inset map up there, I mentioned that migration corridor connecting East Canyon to the Hennifer Echo area. And you can see just the intensity of use over there. So it'll be interesting to see with more collars out there what that illustrates. In a typical winter, 150 to as many as 500 deer may use this property. The winter of 22-23 was such an intense winter that there was an 80% die-off of deer. Winter range is really the limiting factor here due to the loss of winter range from development and critical browse species with fire, drought-based species. Chronic wasting disease, CWD, was identified in the East Canyon unit in 2021 near Bountiful. So we're also watching that. Okay, next. The Wildlife Action Plan, the management of the WMA will support the goals and objectives of the 2025-2035 Wildlife Action Plan. And this is to manage native species and their habitats to prevent an endangered species. A few of the species that are of conservation importance on or near the WMA include sage grouse, golden eagle, black rosy finch, northern leopard frog, burrowing owl, Townsend's big-eared bat, and western toad. Next. I mentioned sage grouse and how sage grouse are using this WMA. This is within the Rich Morgan Summit Sage Grouse Management Area. Goals include maintaining healthy populations, focusing conservation efforts, directing land management usage, and avoiding federal listing under the Endangered Species Act. As we saw on the map, there's nesting and brood rearing habitat with leks in and around the WMA. Next. So the major update from this plan is the committee decided to extend the winter seasonal closure on the WMA until May 1st. It was previously the second Saturday in April to protect the big game. And in that easternmost portion of the WMA, we decided to extend it to June 15th for the sage grouse. So that's it. Thank you.
Great job, Melissa. Yeah, it's been a great effort for many years and a very great presentation of the planning effort. So any questions for Melissa on this plan or observations from this East Canyon thing. Like, so there was an original WMA piece. We've been able to add to it and add great legislative support there, and we went through an interesting process for the management plan. They did put a lot of work and effort in this. Austin?
Just a question on the extensions for the closures. Are there turkeys there? Is there turkey hunting that happens on the WMA?
There are some turkeys there, yes, but what we would work with turkey hunters.
So when it's closed with all access, correct?
It is, yeah. I mean, there are some late season elk hunts though that sometimes extend into January. And if you have a tag, that's open.
Well, any other questions? Yeah,
So-
Rachel. Oh, Gobi, go ahead.
So I just caught the tail end of Austin's comment about the turkey. I'm sorry. I just caught the tail end of Austin's comment about the turkey season. Explain that again.
So he was asking about like turkey hunting and the most eastern side of the WMA that has the longer sage grouse closure. I don't think there'd be turkeys on that side, but in the like the Red Rock Canyon side, or the main part of the property that's open that opens on May 1st. We would work something out with the wildlife section about allowing turkey hunters.
Is that in the plan? Did they say that in the plan?
We can add that to the plan. We can spell that out clearly.
That's a good comment to take back and revisit. And so as part of this process, you get a presentation, we get to review that plan. We've got a couple of weeks that we can submit additional comments to continue to improve the plan. And so that's a good comment.
Can you say the eastern side is the only side that extended season?
For the extended.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of turkey. I go up there quite a bit, and they're all along that westernmost side. So I don't even think it might be good to spell out, but I don't know if you're going to see a bunch of turkey hunters on the east side, and they're all over in
The Red Rock side.
Yeah, thanks for confirming that. That's good to know.
Yeah, I think that's the comment. Then the comment is go back and work through what this looks like to have the portion of the WMA that has turkey habitat accessible during the turkey hunt for turkey hunting. Yeah, I don't know exactly how we do that, but yeah, I think we need to find a way to do it.
Okay, thank you. We will take note of that and talk to the wildlife section and just make sure we note that in the WMA so that's clear and spelled out.
Sounds good. So for this management plan and the other one that we're going to review here in a minute, you'll have a couple of weeks to submit those, any other additional comments directly to the manager. So cool. Thanks, Melissa. Good job. All right. The next plan that we're going to hear about is the Woodruff Co-op WMA Habitat Management Plan. Brad, tell us who you are and
Okay,
floor is yours.
my name is Brad Hunt. I'm the Assistant Habitat Manager for the Northern Region. We've been working on the management plan for this WMA for, I think, 10 years, something like that. This one's unique. It involves DWR owned parcels, BLM owned parcels, and TLA owned parcels, which is what makes it a unique process to go through and update, because there's a lot of coordination between multiple agencies. So yeah, we manage our division lands primarily for the purpose of protecting habitat and enhancing habitat for wildlife, watersheds. And we do that by meeting our management objectives of increasing fish and game populations, recovering species of greatest conservation need, and providing the public with opportunities for wildlife related recreation. As Melissa pointed out, we all follow a similar management plan process, which is mandated by law, that anticipates and documents current uses and anticipated uses, current conditions that we're dealing with, limitations that we have proposed, future plans to, get to, future proposed conditions and, how we're gonna do that. So I'll go ahead. All of our management plans, we make sure that they are consistent with the goals and objectives, lined out in our wildlife action plans, with our species unit plans, with the other plans that, overlap in the area that the WMA exists in. Okay. So for general, information and location, Woodruff Co-op WMA is located in Rich County, about 5 miles south of Woodruff, Utah, and 11 miles northwest of Evanston, Wyoming, along between Highway 16 and the Utah-Wyoming border. Go ahead. This is a general snapshot of ownership around the WMA. The green, yellow, I think it's yellow, up here, and these interesting little triangle our Stegosaurus spikes along the highway, our DWR owned parcels. BLM owns this big chunk right here in the middle. This little piece is TLA. TLA owns some on the opposite side of 16, and the rest is private. So yeah, it's an interesting shape for sure. Go ahead. So Woodruff Co-op is about 5,293 acres. About 2,900 of those acres is owned by DWR. 2,200 of those are BLM, and TLA owns 171 acres. We originally acquired this as a cooperative, supposed to be a showcase example that grazing and wildlife can be managed together to be beneficial to both. So we work towards that goal in our cooperative management with our fellow agencies. The WMA includes critical habitat for greater sage grouse, pronghorn, mule deer. Elk do use it a little bit. Case it does fall within moose habitat, and they do see some use there as well. Grazing has been used to manage particularly crested wheatgrass, the invasive annual grass that we seek to control, and that was planted a lot in the 60s and 70s in a lot of western rangelands. It's a great forage, but it does tend to choke out other native plants and trends toward a monoculture, which we've learned deer, once they get into a monoculture of grasses, they tend to significantly reduce how much they use an area. They prefer a lot more diverse choices. Go ahead. So this WMA, our main purpose here is to provide habitat for the big game and upland game species mentioned, provide public access for hunting and other wildlife recreation. It does sit in an area where there's a lot of private land. So outside of the forest to the and the Crawford Mountains and Monte Cristo, there's this is one of the public land places that people can go to get onto big game such as pronghorn and mule deer. And it is meant to be a model for successful range management that shows that wildlife and livestock can coexist together. So we've got some pronghorn that were out there this winter. This WMA provides winter and summer habitat for upland and big game species that have been mentioned, as well as species of conservation need. There's about 20 identified through our WHAT tool that do occur or have the potential to occur on the WMA and in the surrounding area. And this WMA is within the BLM's priority habitat management area for sage grouse, as well as the Utah sage grouse management area. And we have one active lek out there, I think, right now. Go ahead. From Wildlife Tracker and some of the limited colors we have in the area, you can see we actually have a lot of limited wildlife use from this heat map on the WMA itself. And we feel a large contributor to that is also the limited availability of water. When you look at where the wildlife are concentrated, it's in places that have a significant amount more of water. And so one of our future goals identified in the plan going forward is to work to increase greater year-round water availability for wildlife on the WMA. Go ahead. So some of the key habitats that we work with out there is lowland and mountain sagebrush. We have some mountain shrub, salt desert shrub, and we do have some seasonal wet meadow and stream areas that do provide water and limited water and habitat for like pronghorn and sage grouse. And so also we're looking at doing some zeed ice structures and things that will help retain water in those areas a little bit longer, hopefully increase the size of those and enhance that habitat. Okay. DWR has our range trend crew that goes around the state and gets each region about every 5 years. They're going to be in the northern region this summer. The WMA has 2 range trend sites. One is up here on the north part on DWR land. One is down here on the BLM parcels. They will be ready this summer. And when we spoke with the crew, we're looking at adding another one up in this area of the WMA to help us. This is different enough. We would like to see how that's doing and what the trend is over time going forward. Okay. So some of the projects that we've done out there, we've been working to restore shrublands, bolster the ecosystem. We just did a planting last Friday out there. It's awesome under the high power lines. Listen to the wind ripping through the power corridor. But we planted about 1,300 sagebrush saplings out there, plantings. We've done several more. Last fall we did some more. We work with NGOs like Sageland Collaborative to remove non-wildlife friendly fencing, and we're actively working with the BLM and Sageland to replace that fencing with wildlife friendly fence. And even though we do make some oops every once in a while, we own up to and work with our neighboring landowners to make sure that we maintain those good relationships. And we look for opportunities to involve volunteers, students in doing our work out there and developing and maintaining a good relationship with our grazing coordinator or our grazing permittee so that they help us a lot on keeping an eye on things, doing fence maintenance. They manage the water infrastructure that's out there currently and are going to continue to make sure that we have water in the troughs and stock ponds, reservoirs out there that will hopefully provide more water for wildlife throughout the summer. Go ahead. As was mentioned, this WMA is meant to be a showcase that we can manage for wildlife and livestock together. So we do graze this. We meet annually with the grazer, us, the BLM, TLA, to talk about our grazing program for the year. We institute a rotational grazing plan. The grazer not only does the water for his livestock, but as was mentioned, he's committed to maintaining that water in the existing infrastructure. We utilize grazing to target crested wheat and also to promote a diverse habitat community of shrub as well as grasses, which is beneficial for deer and the like. And then he's going to be doing the work to convert our existing fences to wildlife friendly, and they're going to be doing some electric fence that can be removed fully when they're done grazing for the season, just to greater improve the ability of wildlife to move through that property.
Have you considered virtual fencing?
We have. There's been some resistance on his part of wanting to do that. I don't know that it's, I think he's a little unconvinced of how successful it would be. And he's willing to do the work to put up and take down the electric fence. We're definitely open to it.
I think to try it out.
Yeah. And that's, we'll keep working with him on that. It's been an interesting, conversation because we're still trying to figure out how it has been managed for like 20 years because technically we don't issue the grazing permit. The permit's handled through the BLM, and it's a temporary renewable permit instead of a permanent permit. So we're still working with the BLM to understand like their process and how they do that according to their rule. And because they've managed the grazing for so long. So we're working on that. But yeah, we would like to see either go to virtual, but where he's willing to do the work right now with the electric, we figured that's a good compromise for the time being. Okay. So public access on the WMA, there's like 8 miles of roads out there, 3.5 of which are on our parcels. The WMA currently has a motorized vehicle closure from December 1st to May 1st, and in meeting with the group, even the BLM's sage grouse biologist was like, let's push it to the 15th and reduce the motorized vehicle pressure even further. So we were amenable to that. Again, our motorized access map, this identifies the designated roads we'd like the public to stay to. There's some roads that follow the fence lines out in this section of the property. A lot of them are degraded. There's erosion and things going on, but these roads are in pretty decent shape, and we feel like they can handle the impact of the public being out there. Again, being that it's different landowners, BLM, DWR, TLA, we have to navigate the different rules and regulations that the different agencies abide by. But this is a recommendation, and we'll be signing roads as designated ones. And then this will also help us going forward as we see spur roads crop up, and we can go back to the plan and say, we can remove this one. And then during our planning phase of this, we also agreed to institute a seasonal closure that mimics all of our big game winter range WMAs, where we're going to close it to all access from December 1st to the second Saturday in April. So going forward, it would be closed. We wouldn't have any public in there until second Saturday in April, and then that would be foot traffic only until May 15th when it opens up to motorized. And that would just give wildlife a little bit more space to be in low pressure areas during the winter, allow the sage grouse to do their thing in the spring, and allow the roads to dry out before they get impacted by motorized use. Go ahead. Some of the future habitat wildlife projects we want to work on. We've talked with our regional wildlife section about deploying some more GPS collars on mule deer and pronghorn out there. Like to capture a better picture of current use, and then as we work on improving habitat conditions and increasing water availability, we'd like to see that they start to spend more time out there. So this is a way for us to document that. We're going to work with local university, see if we can get or hire a seasonal or grad student to do some pellet grouse, sage grouse pellet surveys to better document sage grouse use of the WMA. Continue working with our NGOs and partner agencies on wildlife friendly fence conversions where needed. We've got a project that was presented this year to Habitat Council and WRI to install a solar pump and improve some pond retention on one of our water rights on the WMA. It's actually a seismic hole that was drilled and that has water that comes up in it, produces about 5 gallons a minute. And so we're going to clean that out and install a solar pump that will pump water during the daytime, and hopefully even during when the grazing period is done. And as the grazer's working on keeping other troughs full, this one will be flowing all year round. And then, design some habitat projects that will ultimately replace the crested wheat that we have in there with a more diverse array of native forages that we would like to see in there. Will benefit our upland big game species. Okay. And that's it.
All right, thanks, Brad. So this is one of those unique properties where we've got some other instances where we have patchwork of our property that's part of, a larger group of, BLM or other agencies, and we manage them together because it'd be difficult for us to fence or, and so it makes sense, and it does show where we can work together with other agencies and ag community to co-manage properties. And so, anyway, questions about this plan or that arrangement or?
The pronghorn movement, you showed there wasn't much activity. It looks like they all stay on Deseret. Is it a pronghorn friendly fence along the highway there? I know they don't like to cross here.
Some of it is, some of it isn't, and that's some of the work that we're doing to replace those.
Okay.
We've also, some of the concern, as we've talked about that, is vehicle collisions as they cross the highway. You may have seen on social media, we've had a campaign in our northern region of putting wildlife silhouettes out to be a visual cue to motorists. Hey, there's wildlife in this area, close, slow down. We had 4 or 5 ones that we had made and installed at Woodruff, and they all migrated within about a week. So we're working on putting some more out that will be tagged so that we can we can track our wildlife, right? See where they go. So
Put a collar on it.
yeah, put a collar
Put an
on
air
it.
tag on it somewhere.
So, but yeah, a lot of them are over there, and they do cross, but yeah, there's a lot of work to be done, especially on perimeter fencing. Most of the interior fencing is wire, but it's some of it's 5-strand, and so we're working on replacing that with a wildlife friendly fence. I think ultimately in the region, as Tyler asked, we would like to see it go to virtual, but there's some personalities that we're all working together. We'll work it out.
Yeah, that's just always been an interesting section for me because, well, I don't like that public lands inside of Deseret right there. All those antelope on the heat map are on public. They're just within a CW. So I want to see them cross and be on the other.
And that's, we hope to do some
Cody,
range
do you know?
improvements and water improvements and hopefully pull some of them over that. So
I know Kobe loves that.
Cody loves that, so, yeah. All right, any other questions for Brad on this?
I had a question. The 2 different dates of opening, is that gonna be confusing? Do we have other WMAs that do like a walk-in access open and then a month later a vehicle access opening? I'm just wondering if that's gonna be confusing to people.
I mean, it could be, we will plan to, sign it well. And that can be mitigated also by the vehicle gates can remain closed until the vehicle restriction is lifted, but still provide walk-in access through there. So like I know up in Cache Valley, Millville, our Millville WMA, the county has a few roads that go through the WMA to the forest, and they close their roads during a period when the WMA is still open. And they asked about that. And I said, as long as you put a walk-through gate so folks can go through and get on the WMA when it is open, we're cool with that. And they obliged. So I think we can work through that.
Okay, yeah, think into that some more. All right, any other questions or comments on this plan? Like Brad mentioned, it's been in the works for many years. And to finally kind of get to the point where we're on the same page is good, right? So good job. Appreciate the presentation. So thank you for that. So for these, both of these management plans, you have two weeks. If you can provide any additional feedback, critique, help us make these plans better, help us manage better. And so council members want to provide that information, they send it directly to either Brad or Melissa on these, and yeah, a couple weeks to do that. So, okay, all right. We're going to switch gears now, and on the back of your agenda list here, and you guys have previously sent this out.
Yeah, we gave her
So-
that, the last meeting.
Yeah, so this is the list of the projects that were wholly funded through other sources, particularly ECP funding. So external conservation permit funding and other, sportsman group, banquet dollars. Chose to throw it on projects. So along with these and other projects that are in WRI that we're planning to come to the Habitat Council, it was about $6.5 million that were committed on April 1st during an all-day meeting. It was a great meeting. It was great to have the groups there and participate so much, not only with some of their conservation permit money, but their banquet money. They bring their own funds. And so it's a great day, and we just appreciate all of our partners who come and work on these projects. So this is a big list, and hopefully spend some time looking at that. But what we'll do now is we'll ask for a motion we're not approving it for Habitat Council funding. We don't need to, but we're approving to move forward to use the funding identified for ECP and other sources for these projects. Okay, I got a motion from Jeremiah. We have a second.
I'll second it.
A second from Blake. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Kobe. Any opposed, say no. All right, motion passes. All right. One done. That was such a cool day. So many good projects were funded on April 1st. It was great. All right, we're going to review a couple of other projects here. We've asked a couple of folks to come back during the Habitat Council process over the last few months. And so they're going to come back and talk to us. And so, but we're going to start first with the Northern Great Salt Lake Phragmites Tamarisk Control Project. Troy, come on up here and introduce yourself, and we'll get started on this one.
I'm Troy Burgess. I'm the founding president of the Wasatch Woods Association. There's my introduction.
Okay,
That works. There's some stuff here that don't tie in. Thanks. All right, so we're going to talk about the Northern Great Salt Lake Region Tamarisk Frag Project. We've been doing frag for about 9 years now. Wasatch Woods have. Well, there she goes. Next slide. There you go. Okay. This is part of what we're looking at for part of the production. The mission is we're here to improve Utah's wet through hands-on conservation or sweat equity.
No, hold on 1 second.
Okay. Something wrong?
Yeah, we're making sure it's getting shared on the live stream.
I got going too fast, huh?
No,
Our technology's too slow. One or the other. Right?
This last time, just dropping off.
Okay. And we're briefing people you never see.
well, it's the nature of public meetings, so yeah.
So I came all the way here to about the traffic to do this guy. There's what serious construction to get to Salt Lake Valley. My little way, it took me a little longer than I didn't anticipate that construction delay, so. Or to have from Ogden, I didn't anticipate. Well, we've been around since 2015. Go now?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
She's still working on it, but it is.
This is so short, I'd be done already.
Okay, I think we're good.
It's a short presentation, it's short.
Okay, you're up,
I
Troy.
got one of the other, you be too long, so I short completely the other. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the frag and Tamarisk up here in northern Salt Lake region. So here's part of the motley crew of the Wasatch Woods. We've been around since May of 2015. And we're about the hands-on type of conservation and community engagement, trying to inspire the next generation. Next slide. So here's some of our partners. going into fiscal year we have now and going into fiscal year 27. Pretty good little group there. Now, here's the project needs. I'm sure you guys are on the council. You heard everything about frag and all this other nasty stuff. So this is just a quick reminder. It reduces our nesting habitat for our waterfowl and other birds. It provides no benefit for wildlife. It's a water hog. Some studies have shown between May and October it can consume upwards of 38 inches of water. Like you convert that to your acreages. It chokes out the other native plants, changes the biodiversity. It completely disrupts the whole ecosystem. What it really does. And I refer to it as a cancer that spreads across our wetlands. Okay, next slide. Well, that's why we need to do this. So our personal objectives, our primaries are anywhere we work, we try to do a 95% reduction in the frag and tamarisk or whatever other species that we're working in our area. Secondary, we bring in volunteers and make that positive impact with the community so they understand what's going on, they understand the ecosystem, they get some time to do some hands-on work and they're part of this whole system. Next. So now we're going to get into the projects. So I got 2 job sites in active monitoring and 2 that are in production. So the first one is our Kingfisher. That's a 16-acre riparian wetland along the Weaver River. It had 8 acres of frag when we started it, and it's a mess because it's all intertwined with willow. So it's a little bit different than just working in a regular wetland. We're down to about a 1/4 acre, a little bit less than that. Last year, we started going up the small tributary. There's another tributary too. So that one is just to constantly just keep them on top of it so it doesn't come back. This other small one is at the refuge, the Bear River Refuge Unit 3G, with a 1/2 mile along the Bear River. Shoreline had about 4 acres of frag. We're down to 1/8 of an acre or less on that. I don't even think I'm just measured anymore. At below it, less than that. So we paid a contractor, it cost him $120 to mow it this year. That's how small it is. Okay. Well, these are big ones. The first one here is the biggest one as far as the amount of work that's going on, the complexities. That's the Willard Spur area, so it's beyond the WMA. So it encompasses 4 private properties, county property, borders of refuge, and it's primarily in the WMA. Most of it is. So the whole area is 427 acres. We've got this broke up into 3 major zones. I actually got a 4th one, but we're paying for that. Zone 1 is 27 acres at 7.5 miles of shoreline. You can look all the way down along the northern edge of Willard Bay. That's down to 4 acres or less now. Zone 2, 330 acres. We're currently just completed year 1. Zone 3 is the 72 acres. That's that bluish color area up there. That's 72 acres. And that's what we want to expand into. Now you hear a lot of problems with the spur when it comes to too many people out there and stuff. That's almost unusable for the wildlife and recreational use. At 72 acres, it's so checked out. After a year of that, you'll be able to open that up for wildlife and for recreation. And every year we spend on it, you'll get more and more on it. And that green zone, the northern part of that, is doing the same thing. It's all choked up in there too. So as we trampled that now twice, you got more areas that can be accessible for the wildlife and for the recreation. Now the refuge project here, that's unit 2C. It's a 702 acre unit, a 486 acre frag. We've completed year 1, like a year and a half in that. Next slide. This is one of our little success stories. On the left is the Bear. Here's a boat ramp for unit 2C. And then 1 year later, that's what we've done. 1 year we did that much success on it. But you can actually access it. Guys used to go out there on the opener with weed wipers so they could actually get their boat out there to actually do some hunting. Now, next. So here's the budget. We are looking for a big chunk, $96,200. You break this out with the refuse, their in-kind, using their MM, their herbicide, their fuel is $27,000. Our volunteers will probably put another $25,000 in. So we're looking for from the WRI or the DWR Habitat Council. This is going to be primarily on in the WMA, the spur area. Herbicide, you got 500. That's for the little oddball stuff. 700 for the fuels and wear parts on like our weed whackers and things. And then the contract to treat, zone 2 and 3 on the spur, 46,000. Then come back and roll it. The next year, 45,000. Then the contract fall on 2C, which is the outer edge, because the banks are too steep for the Marsh Master. But there's too many other debris in there, we'll bust our tracks trying to use it. $4,000. Next slide, I think we're done. There's some of our wood duck that are kingfisher water in there. Any questions? I told you to quit.
So, I mean, we've seen versions of this project in the past. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's just an ongoing
I guess-
expansions.
I didn't see the kingfish, but you said most of this money is going to go to the spur portion. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yeah, you can go back to that budget if you want. There was like 500 for herbicide and 700 for like fuel and alcohol stuff. That's what we go outside of that. And actually, most of that is used on the spur area too, because more property side of it. they handle it. That's what the treating that we're doing and the handwork.
So, and you're estimating you've got about 27,000 of just equipment from the refuge.
Yeah, equipment,
So that's-
herbicide, and fuel.
that's-
That's for
that's
their, that goes into their 2C budget. So the only thing I'd be asking for on that whole thing would be that 4,000 on that.
Okay. Other questions?
So as we look at this and break it down, so are you breaking this into multi-years or is this something that you're?
I was told we only do 1 year at a time. There's multi-year, they'll try that next year. The frag itself is a multi-year project, but funding is 1 year at a time. So that kind of makes
Yeah,
it,
this be a 1-year request.
yeah, so it makes it kind of think, because once you open it up, you piss it off, you have to stay on it or it gets worse.
It's ongoing, right?
Yeah, because once you open that up, you've cleared up all the leaf litter and everything out of its way, and it's gonna take off on you. So year 2 is critical.
So I'm gonna ask the same question that I've asked in the last 2 years. You keep getting Kingfisher back. How come we're not getting county or city funds to work on that?
They don't do that, but you guys don't want to support it, that's fine.
I've got another question. I've probably asked this one before. When you're right next to the larger Phragmites project that Chad puts in, you're right next to Destiny's Lower Bear River project. Have you met with resistance when it comes to joining projects with them,
With chat.
with Chad or
No,
Destiny?
chat don't put them in.
What I'm saying is, why don't you guys put in your projects together? Why don't you put this portion in with Chad's project? Chad's project always ranks really high through WRI. Destiny's always ranks really high. This one usually comes out medium. It would just make it a lot easier for us to fund it. I mean, I think you guys are doing great work. I love that you're kind of hands-on. But when it comes out of the WRI process as a medium rank, when it's essentially adjacent to those 2 other projects, that would be my suggestion for next year, is try and work with either Destiny or Chad.
I don't know who Destiny is.
Destiny's the one that's doing the Lower Bear River up in.
Oh, yeah, she
Fish and Wildlife.
put me on her project, I don't even know who she is. I'm listed on her project, I don't even know who she is.
And then I would put your funding request in with hers or with Chad's. You could still do your work with your guys on your own, but by combining it together, it'll do better through WRI. Does that make sense?
Good point. The part of this unburdened chat, but that would just put it back.
I mean,
Might as well just give it all back to the state.
No, I mean, functionally, when it comes to implementing on the ground, you could still take your package of money and do the same thing you've been doing for the last several years. But combining it into one proposal with multiple areas would make it rank better.
Okay.
Makes it rank better and easier to fund.
Okay.
So, yeah. So there is a benefit there.
Because it's a medium rank, even though I like it, it's a great project, I can't really put WRI funding in it. So you're kind of reducing your chances for funding to just this group. That's what I'm saying, is by combining it, it would allow me to then put funding into it from WRI.
Okay. Other questions?
I think Tyler, I think those are good comments. I think what we're trying to say is we want to fund this project. I think that's what it comes down to, is just find, it's a good project. And I'm like super ecstatic that you got a group of folks that are doing this just because they want better waterfowl habitat. I mean, there's no ulterior motive. There's really nothing else here. It's just a group of guys saying, hey, we'll work our butts off and try to help in this partnership that's going on all around the lake. Because we all know that if we don't control frag, we're gonna end up in a really bad situation. So
Yeah.
I
So-
think, Troy, so part of this is we probably owe you a thank you for caring enough to submit this. So we can find ways to make it rank better, get it submitted with another project, do things like that. And I'm always wanting to take more of Tyler's money. So.
Well, no, I appreciate that, Kobe. And I guess so everybody knows, I'd mentioned this before we started, a couple others. I talked to Chad about this and he's supportive and you know, especially if this really, the money that you're asking this council for goes to, you know, that Willard Spur portion mostly. I mean, the Bear River portion is really great too. And, you know, they're offering a bunch of equipment for you guys to use. That's fantastic. And we wouldn't want to leave that on the table, I think, but I have talked to Chad and he's supportive. So
I talked about the Kingfisher thing. There's no more than $200 that we go into Kingfisher.
yeah, it's just that, I guess that's always been an issue with this group, is just, it's not publicly accessible.
We talked, I can't split a fuel can between this job and this job, or herbicide between this job and this job. It's just showing you that bulk of it's gonna go here, and any of the residue crumbs, a couple slices of bread's gonna use over there, or we'll just carry it over and use it the next year. And if you guys want to divide it out that way, I can do it that way too. Cause that seed goes into the Weaver River and it goes down and becomes a pan, everybody's left that way too. That's another way to look at it. I get it. We've been working that one for 9 years, but we continue to do it.
There's some special requests for you guys to do that in that area. Like,
Just their stuff,
just
just
the wood
like
duck interest,
harvest
or-
and putting freaking swing sets up and crap. The only one
I
they
mean,
talked to me about. I'll keep digging.
I mean,
I'm gonna try and
that's,
stop by there on the way home today. Cause we're also going in that tributary. I've got a contractor who's gonna come in later this year and with a deforester, take out a bunch of Tamarisk. And, we're gonna treat that stuff. I'm gonna have them grind it down, then I'll come back a week later, do the final cut and treat. We found stuff that we don't want up there, and I know where all the seeds go, it's going right in the Weaver. Again, the Tamarisk. Down the road, I'm gonna go all the way up the main tributary of that, because we got a series of springs up there that are just infatuated with frag to the point that they're functioning more like a seed than a spring.
okay. Any other questions on this one?
I'll make the motion to approve it for funding consideration.
Okay, got a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, got a second from Blake. Any more discussion of this motion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
All right.
Any opposed, say no. Okay, the motion passes. So I guess Troy, for you, it's past this council, and then what we do is we go through a process where we submit, once we go through the budget reconciliation part later on. We get as far down our approved list as we can, and then that goes to our director for the final approval. So you'll get notification as to where we finally actually land on it. So,
Got to be a lot here, however.
all right, thanks, Troy.
Anything else?
Nope,
Thanks.
good for now. All right, our next project is Northeast Region Little Montes Recreation Developments. Tom Platero's online for that. Is this one that we're bringing back?
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe give the background of that, Tom or Alison, whoever wants to provide that. And so we have two of these.
Sorry.
You okay, Kobe?
Yes, I just sneezed.
Yeah, maybe you turn your mute on. Thanks, buddy.
All right, so I'll just go ahead and provide a little background on this.
Remember to introduce yourself, Tom?
Oh yeah, so I'm Tom Platero. I'm the impact analysis biologist here in the Northeast region, working on this Little Montes rec developments project. So just there on the map, when I presented this previously, I had a bit of a slideshow that I went through. just describing where a decent amount of our funds came from. If we can take a look at that, that would be helpful. Just that presentation. And if we can go to slide number 3, just to get started. I'll try and keep it fairly brief. I won't do quite as in depth as we did last time. So yeah. So, and then let's skip down to the second introduction slide.
Yeah, hold on a second, Tom.
Okay. All right. So upon initial presentation, this project covered quite a few aspects. It covered Z-dike structures, some picnic pavilions, pre-plantings, and an 800-foot floating trail. And then next slide. So the most substantial portion of the ask came from that floating trail. That's 800 feet. Yeah, if we can go to the next slide, Allison. And so just kind of recognizing that this is primarily a recreation development project, I applied to the Land and Water Conservation Fund, and we were awarded $210,640 through that. And we were awarded, I was told that we've got like a 99% chance of that going through. The grant will be finalized in June and July. The main thing is that this is a 50% match program, and it would the money would primarily go toward the floating trail and the pavilions. Next slide. And so there on our little Montes reservoir, you have kind of where that floating trail is proposed, as well as the picnic tables. And then let's go down to the next slide. So that's the picnic pavilion table, and then we'd also have some garbage cans associated with it. This is a very basic blueprint of the floating trail. And next slide. And that's kind of what it would look like on the ground. It would just have those 4-inch risers to be ADA accessible. And so let's get out of that. And then I have a timeline uploaded onto the WRI website as well. So after the last meeting, I was asked to break it down into 3 phases just to make it a little bit more palatable each year. And so to effectively do that and kind of decide how we're going to implement those phases, we put out a survey to the local angling group on Facebook and received 47 responses. Naturally, as it was an angling update page, most of the folks that responded were anglers, and they were most interested in the floating trail. Next, they were most interested in the picnic tables and then the kayak slide. Sorry, Alison, asking you to jump around a bunch, but would you mind pulling out that timeline?
Almost there.
Oh, thank you. So most respondents were most interested in that floating trail. A big ask for some comments that were given just in response to that survey was just that we open up the angling access on that north side. Currently, there's a walking trail, but they really want some better access. A lot of families go out there. We got some responses about ADA access, just folks wanting better access on the north side as well as on the south side where we currently have a dock. And so this is kind of what we broke it down into after meeting with the aquatics manager and the reservoir biologist as well. So for phase 1 in fiscal year 27, these are the main asks. We have the floating trail, attaching some habitat structures to that floating trail, doing some plantings in the northern field as well as west of the parking lot. And that's primarily it for phase one. Phase two, we'd be looking at stream alteration, looking at the Z-dike structures just below the dam, and then doing some ADA improvements, as well as re-anchoring the current dock. And then phase three is when we would really implement kind of the finishing touches to this project, performing tamarisk removal, picnic structures, getting a kayak slide, and then also putting in some educational signage and assessing the success of those Z-dike structures and where we can better fulfill those riparian plantings. That's pretty much what we've decided to break it down into. I'm happy to answer more questions or go more into depth about this project as much as I can. I tried to account for inflation. I'm sure that there's other expenses that I'm not sure of, but yeah, are there any questions that I can answer at this time?
Thanks, Tom.
Not a question, but I just want to say I love that you added the hanging habitat structures from the floating trail.
Thanks. That was a suggestion at the last meeting, so we made sure to implement that.
Yeah, Alison, yeah, I can go to the finance and look at the breakdown by account category. That'd be great. So thanks for applying for that other grant. So that's 166 grand, and so the ask here is now is 188, and that's the breakdown. Any questions on that? Aquatics good. We're good. Okay. Other questions on this? Okay. Do we have a motion to accept and approve this? Motion to approve. Okay, got a motion from Blake.
A second.
Got a second from Drew. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Thanks, Cody. All right, motion passes. Okay, thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Okay. Our next one to review, I think, is 7815 feasibility study for jetty pier fishing platforms in Utah Lake. Chris, are you online? Yeah, I'm not seeing Chris Crockett online. Do
I need to give him a call?
Allison's gonna
Text him. Okay.
yeah, Drew's texting, so yeah, we're good.
Let's just all text him.
All right.
I'll take it from the calendar.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, that might be our snafu.
What was the question on that?
He was.
Okay.
He was, okay.
And yeah, we talked about it this week, so.
Okay, so maybe what we'll do is let's take our break because we're just a few minutes early. Let's take a 10-minute break. We'll let these guys figure that out, and then we'll hopefully hear from Chris, and we'll move that forward. So we're gonna be on break for 10 minutes and see if we get Chris online. We are back. A couple minutes earlier than planned. That's okay. Toby will catch on. Maybe he's
He's too busy watching whatever on Netflix.
I'm watching, I'm listening.
Thanks, man. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, Chris Crockett is online with us, and he's going to talk to us about the feasibility study for Jetty Pier fishing platforms in Utah Lake. He had we'd asked him to come back with some additional information on this one, and so with that, Chris, maybe introduce yourself, and then maybe give us the background of why we're talking again. And so, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry about the sorry making you guys wait, but Drew was texting me, said he needed a bathroom break pretty fast, so not to
Good fail for a second. Good job.
Yep, thanks, Chris.
IRA coming your way.
Well, it's only fitting because Drew gave us some good constructive criticism on this project, so I'd have to make a little bit of fun of him. But yeah, so you guys remember we presented this to you a few weeks ago. We had some good suggestions and comments, specifically it seems like from Drew and Kobe, on making sure that we had enough support for this moving forward when we actually look at implementing and building a pier. So we went back, talked to some of our partners, specifically state parks, the Utah Lake Authority, and a little bit from the county, and there still seemed to be a lot of interest in this. Always with a lot of these projects is without knowing what the final cost is going to be of the actual pier implementation, then it is difficult to get people to say, absolutely, I'm going to commit to funding on this. But we had some good conversations. I also talked a lot with Sam Brager, and we decided to kind of flesh this out and truth check it a little bit more through a process that they have just started looking at specific needs for Utah Lake sites. So we're working with them on what they call site plans. They've started with 7 of those. There's over 24 sites around Utah Lake, but a couple of the ones that they are going to be working on now, and I'm on that team, are some of the ones that were identified in the past as prime sites for piers or jetties. So in summary, we're going to basically run this through them a little bit more. It's got a public process component, and we're also meeting with our partners to make sure that a pier or jetty still flags high on the priority list for some of those sites. And if it does, then we're going to bring this right back to you guys next year, a very similar feasibility study with some assurances from those groups that, hey, they are interested. We are not up in the night. We are basically got the proof that we've run it through again to see that we have support for the project. So that is our plan. I will say, we did run this through the Utah Lake Fisheries Management team, and that's why I'm bringing it to you. So I feel like if we run it through this process with Utah Lake Authority and it still shows up as a high priority, I'm going to be pretty confident that this is something we want to see done around Utah Lake. So happy to answer any questions. That's the update. I'm going to bring it back to you guys after we truth check it one more time.
So you said this is a priority for Utah Lake Authority. This is a priority for the region. I guess I'm asking.
Yes.
And then Salt Lake section. Okay, so that's good to know. So knowing that, any additional discussion or questions on this that you brought back?
Just a comment, Chris. Thank you for having those conversations. I know they're not easy, but I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We did also get some updated bids. I got a couple of really nice ones. The lowest one that really looked good for the feasibility aspect of this was $150,000. So that's about what our initial estimates were. I think I said maybe up to 180. When we bring it back next year, hopefully we will use some of that information. Everything gets more expensive every single year, so don't be surprised if that's bumped up to 160, 170, but it still reinforces it's pretty reasonable considering what will no doubt be a $1 million project, probably if implemented. So.
No, that's good information. So yeah, so I was gonna point out, these are just the feasibility studies, and I guess it would be good, in future years, if this is a section in a region priority, which sounds like it is, be able to, I guess, predict or characterize what our participation financially is gonna be in coming years, especially for this group, and if there's an expectation of, huge chunks of money coming from this group, that's probably not realistic. But I think we want to participate as much as we can as per the priorities that we've talked about. But I guess it'd be nice to, you've got verbal support from these groups, but understanding maybe what the ask is going to be in future years when you're actually implementing. I mean, you don't have to answer this now, but in a couple of years, it'd be good to see, the funding plan. And what that ask, a ballpark ask from us is going to be. At that point, would be great.
Oh, good plan, Eric. We can talk more about that if I bring this back to you guys. We can have a little better idea of it's hard to reach too far in the future, but we can bring some examples of similar projects to kind of get that, is it 500,000? Is it 1.5 million type of idea? And then we can have some of these conversations about how we anticipate piecing that information, or piecing that budget together. Because yeah, I totally understand that you guys are not going to be on the hook for it all, but that you'd like to be a part of it.
Good. Alison, Joe.
So I just want to make sure you are not asking for the money for FY27. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay.
And Allison, let me know what you need. I can add some of this discussion and the plan in the project comments so people understand if they pull it up why we pulled it back this year.
Yeah, if you just will put it to change everything to 2027 or 2028.
You'll be like first on the 2028 list.
Yeah. That way I won't delete it at some point or put it to cancel anyway.
Copy that. And I know you guys have probably more important things to do, but if there's any suggestions, comments, other questions that come up, feel free to reach out to me. So Drew's got my cell phone number. Allison knows how to get a hold of me. I'm always happy to talk.
It wouldn't hurt, Chris, to the next staff meeting to just kind of talk about this a bit, just to the staff, and maybe there's some ideas there.
Good idea, Drew.
Yep.
This is cool. This is a cool project. Utah Lake's a big water body, lots of fishing opportunities, and just creating access with piers and jetties is
well, and it's
right.
Access is the number one limitation to Utah Lake, and it's our biggest really community fishery that we have, and this has been kind of an emphasis for a number of years. I'm excited to see it.
Cool. All right. We don't need an emotion on this one. So we're pushing it for a year. So, Chris, thanks for reporting back with the information. We look forward to supporting the projects in coming years. So,
thank you very much.
Thanks. All right. Next item of business. We already took a break, so we're going to jump into talking about the Habitat Council spreadsheet. So, Allison, go ahead and give us the budget discussion overview, and we'll jump right into that portion of our meeting.
Okay. So we've got our available amount that this is our appropriation is $30,428,100. Why do you make that bigger?
So yeah, probably make that a little bit bigger if you can. Gary is over here squinting, so we're talking about
It's the light now.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that better?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, so our this is our appropriation is 3.4 million. With all the projects that have been approved for funding consideration, we've got about 7 million listed. So we're over by 3.5 million at this point. We've taken off everything from that's been funded through ECP, and we've also added in everything that was approved through the Blue Ribbon. So those numbers here are correct. And then over here, we can look at each group. Big games over by 2.7, Upland 481, waterfowl just over by 52, and then sport fish is over by 359. There, Crockett did do a really great thing right there by postponing that for a year, so that your number went down. So that's where we're
Go
at.
back to that original column there.
This one.
Yeah, so we're, okay, so yeah, 3.4. All right. Okay.
So, we can go through, there's options of, going through and either reducing the request at the approved amount or taking projects completely out.
But the idea is we get the red number to turn black or green. I don't know, whatever you color it.
Black.
Yeah. Can you go back over to the waterfowl column really fast?
Yep.
And maybe while you're doing that, I'll just mention, so this is a $3.4 million fund that we're dealing with here. And, but it all goes, I mean, some of this stuff is partially funded through other sources. WRI is a big one, but the WRI database or business system is how we track all of this and how we match up all of this money together with all of the funding sources. So this is a $3.4 million pot of money that will turn into upwards of $40 million-ish when all is said and done. And so it's just important to recognize this is an important cog in that, that wheel. We talked about the sportsman's groups coughed up $6.5 million. That's another element. Then we've got a bunch of federal funds. We have base WRI funds. We've got, other pots of money, several pots of money that all go into this that we mix and match and try to get as far down everybody's list as possible. Forestry and Fire, tons of money comes in from them. And so, anyway, just want to, take a step up and realize where we're at. We're one of those important pieces. And so, and also the fact that we're in the red with $3.5 million, we have great staff and partners who are working on great projects. And, really, well, most of these other projects that may or may not get funded are great projects too. Just how much shovel-ready stuff gets brought to the table every year is astounding. You don't see this in other states. And we go to these national or Western meetings and we review this, and it's hard for them to fathom what we put together in this conservation clearinghouse, thing that we have that is not just WRI, but all of the different funding partners coming together with this partnership. So anyway, just every time I see this, it's remarkable to me what we're a part of, and this is what is so worth it to be here to do this. And we're dealing with smaller amounts of money, and we're talking about individual projects, but it's all part sure. And so just appreciate that. But Austin,
I have a question, Alison. Does this reflect every change that we would have recommended to pass on with splits in the finance? Okay.
Yep, we're making those changes this week.
Perfect.
Yep.
Did Kobe raise his hand or hand raise?
Chris had made a comment saying, thanks, you're welcome, basically, to her helping us out, cutting the project out, but I don't know. Okay. So where do you want to start, Alison?
Golden Creek. Let's deal with
The big one.
So maybe, while we're talking about this, we'll just say we're gonna pull stuff off this list. But that doesn't mean that it won't, by the end of the year or other funds come available, that it won't get funded. It just means for now, for what our consideration is, the list we send to the director's office is, this is what we're funding now, but there could even be additional funds come in after today that even adjust it in our favor, in our benefit, possibly even get further down that list. So just know that there could be additional changes that will be beneficial, just to get further down the list and to fund more projects. So
And on the bottom of the spreadsheet, there's a contingency list. That's usually where we'll put them. So they'll just be down there.
and this might be where Gordon Creek lands. I mean, it's a big number, you know. TJ's online. He's here, you know, if we have questions, but he and the other managers in the regions are doing what we've asked them, come up with big projects that are especially going to benefit mule deer, and this is kind of one of those things. And so I guess what I'm saying is that it's not likely we're going to fully fund or maybe even partially fund this right now, but there might be other options coming in the near future. So
This one didn't get any funds from ECP, right?
No, it did.
Oh, it did?
200 grand. And I think that we kind of talked to ECP about that's a good number to get them started.
Okay.
So,
Oh, it did. Thank you, Alison.
but my recommendation is to pull the rest of it and put it in the contingency.
yeah, I like that recommendation. And we don't need to make motions on those recommendations. If we just, I guess, get
And then we build the package.
Thumbs up.
then we'll vote it, and then-
right, build the package of getting all of these numbers to be in the black, right on the line of funding.
So how do we deal with that one?
Yeah, we're just gonna essentially table it, but it'll be on the contingency list.
From this council
Kobe?
perspective.
Sure, understood.
Eric, you think, I mean, I hope that I understand phasing it. I also, man, these projects are expensive and they are important. And I think you know that, Eric. And so there's part of me that hopes that there's some other funding that will come available this next year to help just get this done.
Yes, I agree.
Is there like a PR request for it in motion or anything like that?
No,
There's some possibilities of some stuff, Tyler.
so yeah, this is important. We're gonna keep looking at funding sources, but yeah, we've got some few things to figure out how to fund these big projects that we need to do. And we're working on it. I guess that's what I'm saying. So okay. No, I appreciate that, Kobe, and it is important, and we want to move it forward. So okay. So for now, I guess let's table that one, and we're going to hope that we'll be able to at some point match up the Sportsman Group commitments to that, and at least get it started, or at least so. I don't know. TJ's online. Maybe he has a comment about that, but
what I'm wondering, because there's definitely multiple phases to this project. I think to get the diversion itself and the pipeline, excuse me, just to the farm, I think we figured that was in total $850,000. I'm wondering, instead of tabling it outright, if we can reduce that number to that one. It kind of feels like if we just table this one completely, we're kind of slitting the throat of this project a little bit. So big ask, I understand that, but I'm hoping we can spread out the cutting of projects and have it not all just be this one, because it's a big project and it's easy to reduce that number off the top.
I guess instead of table it, we can put it on the contingency.
yeah, and I guess that's it's exactly what we want to do. Let's not table it. Let's put it on the contingency list, because we are actively searching for other funds for this project. So it is important, you know, to Kobe's point. So, all right.
And kudos to you for putting together, you know, a big ask and a big reach. That's what we're looking for.
Well, because you asked, we're gonna stretch, so we're gonna try to meet as far up that number as we can, so.
In the aquatics budget, Brian Engelbert submitted a project, two projects, or we broke it into two. Blue Ribbon didn't fund or didn't prioritize either one of those, and that one, in my opinion, since it can't be completed without their support, it should be just pulled.
Which one was that? Was that Brown's
The
Park?
boat ramp, yeah.
That was on my list too.
So Bridgeport,
Bridgeport boat ramp. Brown's Park improvements.
yeah, because it would have put the full amount on.
So while we're talking about these, I'll just mention we've got some habitat managers here in the room. We've got others online that can speak to stuff if we have questions. And so appreciate them being here or available to do that. So the office. Okay. Anything else anybody wants to address?
Yeah, I want to talk about, and this is fully open to discussion. I'm not set one way or the other, but I want to talk about 7716. Matt Warner. I don't know how I missed this when we were going through, but the pipe fence is 100% on the sport fish section. And I don't think pipe fence does anything to keep fish out.
It's specifically to keep cattle out of the reservoir, and there's a harmful algal bloom issue there every year because of the grazing.
Okay.
And you know, it's a fisheries issue.
All right.
Thank you for asking the question. Yeah, because there's
good question.
This is where to hear the details of
thank you
why that's on there. So
yeah.
Okay. Any other?
Did you have another one, Drew? Or was it just that one you're talking about?
The Browns Park one? That was it. Chris Crockett, I don't think it was on the approved list, so that funding wasn't there, right? Alison?
Yeah, I think you're right. Was it?
Can you,
If it is,
you ask that again?
It was not approved at the meeting last month. It was tabled, and so it's not on this list of things we could cut.
It's 7715.
Yeah.
Or sorry, 7815.
We'd already tabled it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Damn it.
That would have been so convenient.
I started this Drew swearing phase of the meeting.
Early.
You're at 250.
Yeah, that'd have been a mic drop if that would have been on there.
About the book, this exclosures one.
Oh, yeah, I tabled. It's all down in there sitting. Let's go.
Can I ask on 7840 in the northeastern down just a little bit? Conservation permit, ECP had nothing on that one. I don't remember why. Or if that was brought up for them.
I don't even know if it would have had to been cherry picked in the meeting.
Okay.
And I don't think it was.
Which one?
I wonder if some of that is just because like weed projects, although like super critical, aren't super attractive. Like it's not a big, yeah. But that that area is really important. Yeah.
I agree. It's important. It didn't rank well through WRI. Sportsmen's groups didn't support it. I think it's a good candidate for putting on the contingency list.
Okay.
Do you agree with that, Kobe? That'd be a good.
I struggle with this because this cheatgrass, like I here's why I struggle with it. Is because it may be a project we can push to next year, and we can always do that until we end up with a fire in cheatgrass, and then we lost it. Like we lost some of the most important winter range for heavy winters on Wasatch East at that point, and so that's where I struggle. Like I'm not saying that you're not right. I'm just voicing cheatgrass changes these systems. And then when there's a fire, it changes them permanently. And that's my concern. So I want to see this project happen. I want to see more of these happen. I want to find a way to fund them. But maybe it needs to go on the contingency for now. Maybe we need to find a way to fund it.
Okay, let's put it on the contingency for now. We've still got a long ways to go.
Yeah.
Tyler, we just need more of your money, man. Where can you interject more money, Tyler?
Not in a medium rank project. And I think Little Montes recreation development is kind of in the same scenario. It's also didn't go through WRI, didn't get any attention from the sportsman's groups.
It's got that matching money that it needs.
From it got the
recreation.
okay.
How does that work? On the match money, so we have to match it. It has to be funded on our side somehow.
Somehow we have to have matching money for that recreation money.
And it was 50-50.
Should ECP have looked at that, or did they?
No, that's probably not appropriate for that.
Yeah. They qualify for that.
So.
No other fishing groups or. Funded
Any more conservation.
donation boxes.
Was the whole of Little Montes for FY 27, or sorry, yeah, Little Montes for FY 27, was that all the trail, the floating trail?
Floating trail is phase one.
Okay.
And installation.
Habitat structure.
So it's already been phased.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah, we asked them to come back with a phase.
Well, technically not, it's better. So I don't, at that point, I get what they're saying.
The fact that he
Where
added
they're
more
allowed.
floating or hanging habitat from that
That can be.
floating trail.
Because we did.
Makes more of a habitat project and a recreation project at the same time.
We have three.
So what was the decision on that one on Little Montes? Do we decide to move that one to contingency then?
No, leave that alone for now.
No,
just
because we have a
'cause it's
matching
got
grant
match.
there. It's off the project.
I don't think so. I think they give it a couple
I
years.
think
on
they
that.
have.
Yeah.
How about Colton Mountain Fence?
Yeah, table that one.
Everybody, any objections to tabling Colton Mountain Fence?
Other than it feels like we're picking on TJ.
I was gonna say, can I object and say, look at another region? Damn.
Hmm. None of the other reasons are speaking up because this is the hard part. This is where we have to.
So I know Jeremy's trying to get Granny on the phone to do the Troy project, just to get a little bit more information, but I know that the frag is important, but I think I ask.
Yeah, he's gone from 15 grand a year his first 2 years to like 50 last year and now almost 100.
So he just said Granny's gonna call him back in just a second. But I told him to different screen.
Yeah.
So
So-
just put that one on the back burner for just a minute until Granny calls us back.
Yeah.
Not that I don't want to do it, and I get that it's an important thing, but that's a high ask. And I get frag is expensive. I totally understand that. But yeah. And I'm pretty sure he feels like I'm picking on him, but
I just wish he would work with partners a little bit more effectively.
I agree with what Tyler says. Is there any way that at this point, can we
I
just
think
wait
Chad
and
can
see
speak to
if
that.
we can, yes, and add it to,
One of Chad's concerns was just stuff like this increases his workload too.
Well, that's not true though.
but that's, I mean, we can add it to that, but like Tyler said, we might be adding it to his project, but obviously we know Troy's gonna.
The only thing I worry about with it is frag is a 4-year process.
Yeah.
If we're 2 years into a 4-year process and we cut his funding, does that at least?
Well, when I texted Cranny and I said, can we phase this? He says it depends on where Burgess is in his treatment program, which makes sense with what you're saying. And we didn't ask that question, so I
I
don't
read
know
it on
where
his
he is.
proposal though. It seems like on the proposal it said like year 3 and 4 like that.
And generally with frag, I know you spray kind of late summer when it tassels, right?
Yeah.
And then mowing usually takes place the second year. The next year, to my understanding.
So he's added that 45,000 to phases 2 and 3. So he says he's in phases 2 and 3 at the spur, which might be true. However, the trampling still isn't till after you burn it. So that would be the next year.
Do they burn in the spring after they treat it?
So you could reduce it by 45.
What about,
50 grand or something?
sorry,
Yes,
I didn't mean to
yes.
jump in. I know you're talking about that. What about the Tabby Mountain WMA
No.
fence?
Kobe, stay in your lane.
Joe, let's just do that. Let's just drop it to 50 grand.
I'm good with that. If you're good, I mean,
And he gets money and we get some taken off of the list.
Anybody have an objection to that?
Nope.
Okay, you understand that?
Because the proposal seems like he's asking to treat and mow the same year, which generally is just not even.
Yeah. When Chad
For Chad to call back.
calls back, let's get some clarification on that, on where he thinks he's at in that process. And but for now, yeah, let's.
now you can talk, Kobe, I allow you.
Permission granted.
Permission granted, Kobe, you're up.
Sorry, I'd moved on. There was a lot of debate on that one. I'd moved on. I'm looking at a couple in central region to not just pick on TJ. Well, one in northeast region, one in. So what about in northeast region? What if we waited a year on the fencing for Tabby Mountain, or what if we looked for other funding on that one? And it's hard because I think what we're all trying to do is look at this and say, okay, a lot of these habitat projects we don't want to not do. So where do we cut first? It's big dollar that doesn't cut the habitat projects. And we also understand that fencing is important to maintain good neighbors and habitat projects. And so like you're walking this line of like, it's really hard, but how do people feel about that one? Is that a good idea? Is that not a good idea?
I mean, it's not a good idea, but it's something that probably has to happen this year.
That one was pretty specific, Kobe. I think that was only 4,000 feet of pipe fence to keep a few cattle out, which I know that's a problem, but that to me, like the little hole WMA fencing seems more worthy if I had to compare those two. But
We might have to cut both of them, honestly.
Whoa, Tyler, calm down.
Just looking at the big red number and Joe ain't helping this year.
No, Drew's not helping this year.
Do we have like overdraft coverage?
No, no, sorry, we're not allowed from the director's office to overbook the plane.
Overdraft is not approved. I've asked that question for years. Yeah, we put some of these on the credit card. Credit card remote. I don't know.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, let's move, unless anybody has any objections, let's move the tabby fencing to contingent.
I was online.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're okay if we put that one on the contingency list for now?
I think so. Like with Pat being the project lead on that, like I'll inform him, let him know.
Yeah, I mean, we're just thinking out, thinking out loud right now. So, but yeah, we'll probably for now put that on the contingency list. It doesn't mean no funding. It just means you're not here. So
What's the other one you're looking at?
the little hole WMA fencing right above that one. That one had.
Yeah, let's leave that one alone for now.
I really want that one to happen. So
how about while Tom's on, did you get anywhere on your beaver project, reducing that any? I know the sportsman's groups gave some money to it. Just curious.
So yeah, where are we at on that?
How that went?
Which one was that? Was that the front beaver?
No.
So as far as the beaver quarantine facility, right?
Yeah.
So as far as reducing it, we haven't. Like the current ask is still where it's at, but other regions have made it function on much less. So like our preferred option is to go forward with the quarantine facility that we have proposed. But if it's decided that if we get 10 grand, 20 grand, we can probably move forward with that. It would just, ideally, we would hope to upgrade to something better in the future.
So there's 32 grand of ECP money on there. Is that what we're seeing?
Yeah.
So the 68, as I understand it, is the Habitat Council portion of the request. That it's a larger request that is on our internal enhancement list for other monies too. It's a bigger chunk than that. Tom, tell me if that's incorrect, but that's how I understand it. The director's office is still mulling that over. And so
if we remove the 68 from the council, it still has a chance to get it from other sources.
Yeah.
Or can we reduce the cost from Habitat Council?
Good.
We could just,
say, I mean, you already got 32. We could say throw 20 on from the council or something.
I think the rest of WMA, it's right there on that, it's right there on that edge.
That's a good number.
That's number 43.
I mean, I like these projects. I want to see them have one of these in the northeastern region.
I think you reduce it. Maybe the beavers get a little more sun or a little more less shade, but
yeah, first year you got to
Make them more of a day spa than an all-inclusive package.
and then give
What do we think? 15, 20?
I say we drop it to 20. You okay with that? I don't know what else.
I think we asked, as far as the beaver stuff go, that they have a more consistent approach to what that is anyway. And the proposals
we're planning to do that. Daniel and I have talked, and we're going to, for future years, we're going to put together basically this is kind of an acceptable design and approximate cost for all of our regions to use if they're needing to upgrade. And It'll be based on what stuff that's already been done and been successful, so.
If you approach it from that perspective, you should hold off on all of them until they actually come up with a design that's
Well, all the others
standardized.
they have a facility already. And maybe Southern, you guys wanted a new facility this year.
We're gonna need a new facility.
And it was like
We
15
currently
million.
are sitting on the UDOT property that we're gonna be kicked off of.
Kobe, do you have a question? Comment? You're
I
on
just
mute.
want you guys to finish the discussion on this one, then I have another question for Tyler and the group, but.
Oh, you waited your turn this time?
Yeah, I'm done with the discussion on that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kobe.
I'm looking at Upper Severe River, and that one has, it's a big ask from Habitat Council as far as proportion of the project. It's slated to get some WRI funding. Where does it rank? Is it going to get that funding, Tyler?
Let's rank statewide 22. Also, we included this project in our NIFWIF grant proposal. We asked for 200, let's see. We asked for 228,500 for this project as part of that grant. So, I don't know when we'll hear back on it, but
It also requires only one match.
no, it does not.
It does not.
This, they changed it. Well, this round of this NIFWIF grant, we only have to provide 10%.
What's
So-
the 50 coming from? The other sources, your WRI?
DQ.
Well, there's this part that it doesn't give you numbers.
So if that money does come through, then
You only know that there's.
they'll be asking for a lot less money.
That you want to put.
Is that enough to get it put on the contingency list? Is that where this needs to go, or?
What's the timing?
I have no clue.
I don't think they gave a timeline.
Yeah.
I feel like last year, the ones that we did not get, we heard like July, August.
So, I mean, we could table this in both WRI and here. And if that funding doesn't come through, we can look at it again in August.
This may reason.
Yeah.
After we close.
We need that different grant, grant that covers multiple projects.
So that, it takes in three different projects in the southern region. And we asked for a total of 2 million. So.
And not to throw a wet blanket on it, but we've not won with very often. And that's what Mike Golden writing proposals in the past, so. I don't know how you win that Mike Golden writes the proposal and you don't get it, so I'm just saying.
I like after going to like
And you've got
the
the
webinar, I mean, it sounds like they have got a lot of money, because I mean, they're allowing us to do up to 2 million. And like they start at 5, I can't remember what the starting number was, but it was a higher number as far as like the minimum ask. And so I don't know, I think where we combined everything together in kind of that general area, like all the criteria as far as being in the migration priority areas. I don't know. I'm hopeful, but I
mean, it's
have
pretty
no
time
idea.
after WRI that if it doesn't get funded, I'm hoping by the end of the summer we'll know.
Yeah. I mean, it only closed last week. So.
I mean, we're at the point where it's about to get brutal, so if there's any hope for any of these, then I say we table them for now. So I'm good with tabling that one for now, in hope of the NIFWIF money. Anybody opposed to that? How are the regions doing on spending their WMA maintenance? I mean, could we do a $20,000 cut across the board on those, or what's your thoughts on that?
So we've seen some regions are really good spending their amount of money. Other regions sometimes have some left over.
be as much, Tyler, but on the Pavant one, I know we budgeted trying to replace the Zubac and figuring out the plan and the process, and Justin Shannon told me ask for a whole bunch of money to just use seasonals to do it. As we're narrowing it, I think we could probably reduce that some. I'd have to open my laptop died, so I
Mine did too.
yeah.
I'm just winging it now.
Do you need to bring that up?
If you could open it, I could probably, if we look at last year's and this year's, I think I doubled the seasonal request is what I remember doing. I can probably go back to.
I mean, my viewpoint of it is you reduce them all up front by 20%. It's almost a sneaky way of over allocating. If someone comes and needs that extra 20,000 at the end of the year, we looked at projects that came in under budget and transfer money.
So 30,000 for seasonal.
Is that, I can't remember. Did we end up combining Pavant into this one?
Yes.
Okay.
This is Pavant and Clear Lake.
I think
So I think you should get from 30 to 20 is,
What?
I think the Northeast region has room to decrease their.
Yeah.
budget.
You asked, they asked about.
No, I think they can decrease it. I think last year.
Last year, we spent about
I really do.
The other one.
Half?
Third one.
About.
We've got new properties too.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, do you have a suggested number for each region, or should we just like take a percentage or take a dollar figure?
I don't know that I do a percentage across. the
I don't
board,
think
but
so
the other
either,
four
because you gotta
regions-
remember Northern accumulated a bunch of new properties, and so I feel like if you reduce theirs, it's gonna hurt them.
I mean, I'm not even saying that we wouldn't give the money back to them if they actually needed it. It's just kind of like we do at the legislature every year where they take 2% away from us and then give it back to us at the end of the session. It's a sneaky way of over allocating is what it is.
Well, I think there's another thing here, and what I would say is, I like Tyler's proposal. I mean, if you're looking at 20,000, that's 100,000 across to get us closer. But I would say the regions are online. If that's something that they're not willing to do, then help the council and offer up something else. Like just looking at this, we've still got to reduce by a lot, $600,000.
You go up to the Northern.
I mean, maybe take 20 grand out of 4 of them and 50 out of Northeastern region, given their spending from last year.
Go ahead, Tom.
So,
I just wanted to say Pat's going to be hopping on here in he just said a few minutes. So if you do want to hear from him, he'll be on here soon.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
I worry about taking, like you saying, 20,000 or 20%, because 20,000 on Southeast is pretty brutal because
What's 7881?
it's, but that's not Clinton Community Home,
What number?
7881.
Yeah, can we look at that? I really like that project, and Northern Region Aquatics didn't really ask for much this year. But we can look at it and
I mean,
see.
it's almost 100,000 from.
City doctors, not sure they've got children.
I think the city did.
I imagine that one of the city did. You put into the next part, no. I don't know, I think from all of our presentations from regions, we've been able to see these community fisheries are just really important. I don't know. Drew, what are your thoughts on this?
I'd rather cut something else. I'd rather find a phase one project that, you know, is important but not started yet and cut that. You know, you mentioned Little Montes earlier. That problem's been up there for decades, and waiting one more year isn't going to be the beginning or the end of that fencing project. Not Little Montes,
Matt Warner.
Matt Warner. Yeah.
So you gotta
My thought on Matt Warner was, and we can talk, but you know, if we were to cut the drill pipe fence, just do the road base portion of it, that drops it all the way down to just 8,600.
I'd say
That gives them something.
no.
Now it's got to do it all.
And the reason I say that is this year, it may be dry anyway. So, you know, it probably isn't an essential project this year, although important.
We'll do it then.
All right, Regions, you're being quiet. Help us out.
Yeah, we're just gonna start calling some out, so.
On the
Brad,
Northern Region WMA maintenance budget, we had a placeholder in there to lease the skid steer for 15K. We got permission in the enhancement process to buy one with ICP money, so we were gonna use that to maybe buy some attachments, but we'll get back that 15K back from our ask on the RWMA maintenance budget.
Okay.
For Central, do you have any big dollar numbers that we're asking for? I just don't know off the top of my head.
What's that Canyon Group pond? What's it ranked? WRS. No.
127. No.
How about that one?
Canyon View Pond, is that what you said?
Can you pull it up?
I think that's the one in by Alpine, is that right?
I think it's down Spanish Fork.
Yeah, it's the Spanish Fork Pond.
Okay. What's the ask on that?
Yeah, but aquatics in the black like that.
What are you gonna do? Can we wait a year on this one?
That's mostly dredging. Yeah.
Doesn't help big game where we're still way over allocated.
What do we need to make up in sport fish? Roughly 100,000.
83. Oh, you're in the red right now.
I'd rather look at another project.
okay,
Covey, could you compare in your mind the little hole fencing versus Colton Mountain fencing? I know they're not apples to apples, but
I think the difference in my mind is that if we don't do the little hole fencing, we don't do the project. And on Colton Mountain, it's to maintain. I mean, the Colton Mountain fencing needs to be done. Like, don't get me wrong, but the little hole, the rest of the project, and the food plot and other things associated with that is all part of that fencing. And so like we can't do any of it if we don't do that. But that's where I'm struggling. And that's kind of this unique niche project that we've been asking the regions to think about and do. And I don't want TJ to think I don't think his fencing is important.
Can I do some wheeling and dealing on that fence? if we can the poor free bench revival for 60,000, can we leave Colton Mountain Fence alone? I'm volunteering that one as tribute.
Hey, we just asked everybody to will and deal, so you're
Yeah,
you're
you're
doing
doing what
saying.
we're asking is tell you regions, you got to start telling us what you want to keep and what you feel comfortable cutting loose for this year. And so
I want to keep the fence. We can cut poor free bench, and I'll keep looking through. We might be able to cut others, but we really want to keep that fence if we can.
okay, what's that amount?
No sportsman's brew.
61, no.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I mean, at this point, anything that's medium and low ranked and has no sportsman's brew funding, I think is the next cut list.
The other lowest project that I would cut would be that Duchesne River restoration work. It just didn't seem to have the value. I don't know if anybody disagrees with that, but
Which one was that?
it was I think a TU project on the Duchesne River down right there.
Close to your budget.
It got blue ribbon.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was, I had looked at that one. Some of the others this other one also
Can they-
has a big
can
ass,
they-
but they've got blue ribbon as well.
Can they do it with just blue ribbon or do they need both?
Probably get away is what are the WR rankings?
The one to change.
And it didn't go through WRI on Strawberry River.
Oh, is this the one that there was all that crap thrown in the river?
And it seems like it's, you know, the argument they were making was the access wasn't there.
Well, yeah,
And it just,
Yeah, that one.
yeah,
private, yeah.
yeah.
They're for that road washing and basically the farmer's road,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm in favor of seeing what they can do with just blue ribbon money. What was the other one?
Strawberry.
Very one of them.
That was a phase 4.
What about that one through Strawberry?
That's an ongoing restoration project because of the fire. And this might be a closing in on the last phase, so I'd rather finish it.
Yeah, let's leave that one alone. It's phase 4.
So contingency Duchesne, but leave Strawberry.
Yeah,
Okay.
for now. We'll just let Duchesne have the blue ribbon funding only.
Okay, so what if we've been looking at ICP budgets and texting back and forth. And I think we can commit about 350. We would want to put that towards projects so that it obviously has to go on projects that are conservation permit species projects.
So
we have
Covey, that's 350 total.
What's that?
350,000 total for all projects this year from ICP.
Well, for right now.
That's about what we have right now that we're comfortable with. I mean, we funded some other stuff, trying to get out ahead of enhancements and things. And we've got some research projects we may have to pick up some more on. So, but right now we're comfortable with 350.
I mean, what's the need just on Hungry Creek from ICP?
You can, yeah, it's like that. Habitat Council.
The retreat was fully funded.
Yeah. Yep, it was fully funded.
Little Creek, prescribed burn.
I mean, I know, for example, that that Northeast region project, it was like 80,000 short. The one that we were just talking about with the little, how short is that one? Little hole or?
It's 85,000.
What did it rank?
It's little.
I'll show it rank.
Oh, it didn't go through WRA.
And it still needs.
85,000.
Is that the request? So if it gets Habitat Council funding, then is it completely funded is the question.
Yeah, this is the total it needs, the 96 that it got from ECP and then 85 from Habitat Council.
Okay, like we can take that one.
So that means just put it on contingency. ICP will take it.
If sport fish needs to be reduced another, what is it, $17,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Reduce the Pelican Lake Eurasian milfoil project by that. And that'll just reduce what they can do this year and still get the project done.
Okay.
So maybe like. Maybe like kick it down to just 105 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Go ahead and do it. The other one I thought of Kobe that would maybe fit the bill on those. And what you were just saying, 7891 Eastern, that's the LaSalle Mountain one. They got 208 of ECP, and we've got 50,000.
It's a little different than when everybody's trying to take my fish money.
Honestly, I don't like that. I think this one needs Habitat Council money. This is one of the best projects we've got this year. Everybody needs to fund it.
Okay.
The other categories are looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, I
Big-
think I
big
still
game
have
or-
10 to lose. Is that right? I can't see. Oh, two.
Allison, on that LaSalle project, just move that 50 over to ICP then, and we'll just cover it. And then Tyler, what did you say? You said there's something that we need to make sure gets funded.
I just think everybody needs to put money on that one, including ICP and Habitat Council. It's a good project.
Which one?
The LaSalle Mountain.
Okay.
I just knew he wanted a good project.
And I still want your 50,000. Toby. I just want everybody else's money on this one.
Cynthia Peach did the ICB.
Yeah, Indian Peaks was the next one I was thinking. Did it get, I should, yeah.
How much does Deer have left? 270?
280.
280. Yeah. Man, you're expensive, Austin.
Thank you.
Big game, big money. What did Indian Peaks rank?
26.
That's right. And does it have, it had sports money on it too, didn't it?
35.
Yeah, 35. So yeah, Kobe, we can cover that one.
Which one's that one?
Indian Peaks for 50.
Yeah. Yeah, we can cover that one.
Have we got anything left that's medium and low ranked in WRI that has zero IC or zero ECP money? Zero.
Anti-angler access, 7937. Sport fishing.
Did we reduce that? We did reduce the Great Salt Lake one that he just presented, right, to 50 per
Yes.
six.
What other good deer projects or big game projects do we have? I mean, because we still have that we could allocate. I mean, we're at what? We're at 170, 180 that we've allocated.
What's left on my mule deer Central Region Milder project that needs funding. 7794.
Not a lot, but we could pick that up.
Yeah.
How much?
Kobe, what about the 12-mile canyon ones?
12-mile.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Slide that one over to ICP.
Sweet, thank you.
35.
That puts it at risk. Could you take underfunding on that? I mean, if that doesn't get fully funded, how much did the sources put in?
Do you hear that, Robbie?
What was it?
Can you underfund that one, Robbie?
Like, do break it, partial it out, is what
Phase
you're
it?
saying? Yeah, if we
Yeah.
don't get fully funded, yeah.
And that would give you 285 if we weren't able to give you any WRI funds.
Yeah, I just have to look at what is the ask for the prescribed burn. That's what I want to do for sure.
Because you guys have already slashed, right?
Yeah.
This is the one we've got the ladder drills up and stuff.
Yeah. Thank you going down.
That's the whole thing, I think. Except for maybe some BDA work.
Well, there's cut and pile work in there too. There you go, that 1,200 acres.
Fire burns, a good
Do
way.
that, so it'd be, and it wouldn't be that either. So it'd be
So we have
80,000, 15,000.
So we have 258 right now. Yeah, I think we'd be in good shape because we could either do, if the prescribed burn falls through, then we could do the cut and pile. So I think that'd be great.
Well, let's figure out the actual number. What is the number for the prescribed burn only?
185.
185?
Get them all. The 75,000, 15,000, 80,000.
And then there's another 20,000 of smaller stuff for,
There's also the 5,000.
Yeah.
Toward calculation.
yeah, that's gonna say 5,000 or 15,000. 195.
I mean, let's give it what it needs for the burn, put that in notes. And then if we get to it at AWRI, then we know where a good break is in the project.
Well, if that's all it needs, then
We
we
have a
don't
lot
need
already.
Yeah, the
That's what I'm
ECP's
saying.
already covered it.
Let's
Yeah.
just cut the whole thing out of Habitat Council then. Just put
Don't
the
do
notes.
that. Just kidding.
Well, you've already got 235 from ECP, so
So
Okay.
you only need
That's-
100 for the burn.
Just run with that 235 for now. And if you end up being able to do the other work, if we have to readjust or reallocate, we can chat.
well, I
I
mean,
like
once we get to our actual final funding meeting for WRI, we'll,
And we might even reduce it more in our final funding meeting.
You're welcome, Robbie.
Yeah. It's like one of our most important projects in the whole region. So I really hope you don't. But
You just have to do the lop and scatter and the BDA stuff in the next phase.
yeah.
All right. What
And
other? I think. What does that put me at? Like, I'm trying to go through my mind what I've committed.
Like on the contingency for ICP?
Yeah.
50,000 on that one. Oh, okay. 50,000 on that one, then 85,000 on Little Hole. And 50,000 on Indian Peaks.
When you say 50,000 on that one though, we were cutting that.
Yeah. We decided not to do that. So my only.
Then not that one.
So we got a bunch more money.
I still say we cut the WMA maintenance all across the board.
I don't know that that's fair because I look at this and I some regions are running WMA maintenance pretty skinny and some are running it.
Let's take a poll then.
Eric, hold on, Melissa has a comment.
So in northern region, we looked at our budget with seasonals and we could cut off another 5,000 and get rid of a really short-term seasonal position if needed. So that would bring us up to 20,000 total cut.
From WMA maintenance? Okay, so we got 20,000 from northern region. How about northeastern region? How much of a haircut could you take on WMA maintenance?
I think we're kind of in the same boat as, I think that was Melissa that just spoke up with, we could cut funding for some out of the seasonal budget and take a cut there. As far as the general funds though, with all the acres we've acquired in the region and the maintenance that comes along with those, and still some additional acres to come. I just can't take a cut on the other funds, but yeah, some seasonal help, I could make a cut there.
Can you give us a number then?
Hang on just a second.
And then the other regions, let's hear from the other regions too.
You said 5 on that, Melissa?
20 total from them. You took out 15 for the.
Yep, I already took out that 15. I just took out another 5.
Raise your hand.
That was me. I could do 15,000, Tyler.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you. Gary?
Working on it.
Gary's working on it. Is Farmer around?
Yeah, Farmer's on.
You're really asking a lot considering how many properties we do.
I mean, if you can't do it, then say you can't do it. But
I could do 6, but not more than that.
Give us something, so.
Okay, so 6 from Central. Southeast.
So when we were talking about this earlier, it sounded like we were going to give it up now in hopes of getting it back later. Is that still the game plan? So that we're over allocating in some sense, or is this gone?
Officially gone.
Officially gone.
Unofficially, maybe.
Unofficially call and talk to the habitat chief. Later. I mean, honestly, when regions have needed to go over their budgets because something comes up, have you ever been told no?
No.
Okay, there's your answer.
No, TJ. There you go.
On the record, the answer right now is no.
Right. We could go down by 10. Northeastern regions, or not northeastern, northern regions not going to like me, but looking at the list at the bottom of the page, I think they can chip in a little bit more as well. I don't know if we've taken a whole lot out of their other projects. I know they've reduced their WMA maintenance, but it looks like that's about it. So is there any other northern region projects that we can cut to get further?
Let's get through the WMA exercise first. So we're waiting on Gary and.
Let's park that one.
6.
And that'd be, we would turn our Bobcat in for a year.
Okay.
That means what?
We wouldn't turn our Bobcat in. We're on a program where for $6,000 a year, we get a new Bobcat every year. That would be, we just keep our Bobcat. We'll figure it out. I'm sure we'll find it.
Call me later.
Yeah.
Call me later.
Say it quietly just in case Troy is.
Okay.
Most of the northern region stuff is just their WMA maintenance, like all of the different.
Volunteers, I might be able to full volunteer.
It's hard to cut any more from them.
You said, okay. I still am struggling with that community fishery dock, and I don't know why. I just am. but I'm not a fishing
Yeah.
person, so.
we did a creel survey. I talked about this, a couple Habitat Council meetings
Yeah.
ago. And our community fisheries, and that is a community fishery, they get 700,000 angler hours a year, which is more than strawberry. And so.
And strawberries, Utah's pride and joy.
Right. And so to say that they're not a value individually does them a disservice.
I don't think they're not valued
Yeah.
that by any means. And
Yeah.
I live around there, so I know that it's used, but I struggle with the almost $100,000 ticket.
The other thing that I think everybody needs to understand is that, the city manages them. It's the city's water, it's the city's property. They manage the maintenance, trash, everything that goes with it. We just supply fish, and that's really all.
Sure.
From the water top down. And so for us, it's a huge value, and the city's commitment is millions and millions of dollars.
Eric, can I ask on a project?
Yeah.
Toby, what about the Abajo Mountain prescribed for your ICP commitment?
550.
Yeah, that one's probably a really good fit.
What's the notes on the ECP say? We're making deals there.
It was for the prescribed fire. I believe we
It's an expensive project. We've got a lot of. Feels like a relatively low ask if this is what it's going to take. How did it rank in WRI, Tyler?
It's a multi-year project, so.
This is the second year.
It's ranked high then, so you're saying.
Then that one makes sense. Let's throw that,
Yeah.
take that 45,000, let's reduce it and add it to ICP.
So how much we got additionally committed to ICP then? Also, are you tracking that?
I don't know. Somebody should be tracking it. Should some at the bottom.
Well, the whole meeting's recorded, so you can look at the notes.
I don't have a column, but, I guess I do.
Yeah, they just start putting it in the ICP column and deleting it from the Habitat Council request column, and then we know.
All right.
Okay, she's working on that. So, what else? We're getting closer.
Also, that kind of came across as sharp. I didn't mean it like that. I'm really sorry. It's super fun to run a spreadsheet in front of everybody live.
You're doing great.
First year on the job.
You're doing great. Southern region.
Well, did we already cut Gary, did we already cut your Bicknell Bottoms and Richville, or you were saying that you had some room with Zubek retiring. Did we already do that?
Yeah, it wasn't gonna add up to nickels and dimes because of the PR.
For the PR, so it's only gonna be $2,500.
Okay,
So let's look at that Bicknell WMA prescribed fire though.
so that's 15.
We, based on the fact that, and the little tongue-tied saying is that we are going to issue a grass bank grazing permit there this year. I think we're done burning for a couple of years.
So we can cancel that project?
I think we can.
Yeah, what that takes out is 9,000 off waterfowl and 4,500 off upland.
Well, honestly, I don't know that those numbers matter at this point.
Yeah, I mean, well, that helps, but they're almost to zero now, so. That basically will make waterfowl.
So take that one
So
out.
we'll put that one on.
I didn't realize it was still on the list. Which one?
They leave it on the contingency list.
We'll need to probably, I don't know, we've got that agreement with forestry fire, so we'll have to.
The agreement is a reimbursable one, but only if they do it. So
That's true. So,
the idea we had a 5-year agreement so that if contractors did it, we should work better. So
yeah.
Okay, before I got lost adding up ICP, what were we talking about? Which project were we discussing that we were gonna reduce? Okay.
Move the Bajo down and put it ICP.
ICP, okay.
To say Abajo correctly. Cause I just wanna call it the Aljo Mountains.
Do we know roughly what ICP is at Covey? The Thousand Lakes, I know it's a further.
Melissa's finishing tracking on that,
phase
so,
of-
yeah, but go ahead and suggest.
Is that a project we could do there? Strictly elk and deer, right?
Yeah, the Thousand Lakes one.
Yeah.
We bring it up and look at it really quick, I guess, after we get everything sorted out on the spreadsheet. See, I've got it in front of me.
There's project number.
6596 Thousand Lakes Habitat Improvement.
We didn't need it. We didn't need it. Okay.
So whenever you get to a total of where we're at, just
We're at 180 on ICP.
committed out of 350. Okay, so it's rubbing up.
Yeah, but that, I mean,
Yeah, this is a good one. This is a perfect one for ICP.
I agree.
I mean, it's all we're doing is just adding money to WRI's column at this point. It's like,
You're welcome.
I mean, maybe some of the ones that are. See if I can on this. Oh, I can rank it. I'll have to do that.
I guess that's the question, Tyler. Does it rank high enough in WRI that you're going to fund it? And does this extra help?
I mean, all you're doing is just replacing Habitat Council with ICP. I guess that's fine if that's where we're at. We're
I
done
mean,
with the same
if
project of the meeting.
if Habitat Council doesn't fund it, are you going to pick up the rest of it? Is the question.
Maybe.
It's right at
It
the
ranked.
bottom. It's a high rank, but it's number 41 in statewide. So it's.
So I think, Tyler, what you're saying is with the ICP money, find the projects that maybe haven't ranked as well in WRI.
Yeah, and if we're already done with that part of the meeting, then
Replace our Habitat Council money with that.
That makes sense. Like, I don't want to double fund stuff. I mean, I guess it stretches you further down the list too, is the other thing. But yeah, if there are good deer projects, regions, if you have a good deer, elk, bighorn project that is asking for Habitat Council that didn't rank well, speak up and let's get those funded.
Scroll so I can see this other region.
What about, the South Hollow one? In southern, right?
Oops. Yeah, that's 67.
Yeah.
ECP put a bunch on that. I don't remember if they.
I've not seen it.
Is Oak Springs in the.
Oh, it's the upper valley.
Upper Valley. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So at TDM, we basically have it so that the ECP is funding 305.
Big
It
number.
just basically needed 21,750. That was it. So it's not going to help WRI at all, but it would help Habitat Council.
That's
Sweet.
What's on ECP saying?
Is that a good one, Covey?
Yeah. What?
It goes
Yeah,
over.
fund it.
So that, I mean, is that a good one then right
They've
there? Because we
already done
basically already
that.
made the deal in ECP. Cut the Habitat Council fund.
I think we need the 21,750. Cause that's
So-
why to
Just
finish
gonna
off
come from
this
ICP.
portion.
Just move it to ICP.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good one just to move to ICP.
I like that.
Okay, we're getting closer.
Same thing with 5 mile doesn't help you load Tyler, right? That's just. You guys have to counsel ICP.
It's 5 mile ranked.
It was it's a second
year.
year. Last year's number 2.
Doesn't help me at all.
Trying to learn what you're looking for.
I still don't know what you're looking for, but I'll ask about the Watts Mountain one. To do something
That one was
similar.
lower ranked,
What's right?
medium ranked, statewide agency.
It's asking for 50 and
It isn't gonna get anything.
What was the ECP?
no.
205,000.
Did we make a deal on that one?
I don't.
We were gonna just reduce this.
There's on that.
Yeah, we were just gonna let them do.
Okay, so that's a good one to chop then.
Okay.
Good job, man. You found one.
But not.
See, that's even your neck of the woods down there.
That's just gonna reduce the acres one.
Yeah, so you're still gonna move forward with the project. It's gonna be- it's gonna be-
Yeah, just with your acres.
And hopefully, 175 an acre is pretty high estimate for the project. Is this a Kendall project?
Yes.
Kendall will probably get that for cheaper than 175, I'd imagine. He likes to pad.
Yeah, I think sometimes regions don't know we know their tricks, but we do.
Black.
$1,200, let's go to lunch.
There's sort of red on. Big game. What's the?
Let's look at the contingency list, see if there's anything that really hurts.
So
Wait,
we're
maybe
38,000 in big game.
But overall, we're in the black.
We stole from waterfowl and upland.
it's a time-honored tradition. It's usually Drew's money.
Those numbers aren't matching.
Yeah, they're not matching.
We know spreadsheet.
If overall we're in the black, can we call that good for now?
I just want to hear from the regions. Is there anything on the contingency list that's really hurting that you want to advocate for? Silence equals agreement.
Well, I can't see southern regions, so you have to scroll.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out what are we looking at?
Just the contingency.
Okay.
Just want to make sure that there's nothing that's.
Bajo is the minor region.
Sorry, I was filtered in a weird way.
Some of those on the contingency are getting ICP, right?
Yes.
It's probably, yeah.
Virginia, Bajo, and southeast.
Hey, Tyler.
Yeah.
It's Pat. I'd like to advocate for that little hole project. I think that's a great project. If there's any way we can make up the difference on that, it's an innovative project. Got a lot of great response at the ECP funding and by some of our internal staff. And if I could just pick one, I would make that our number one.
Yeah, I didn't know that one hit contingency. That's a surprise to me that we put that one on contingency. I thought we funded that one with ICP.
It's just fully funded.
It's
Yeah.
fully funded. ICP took that one. I just had already moved it to contingency.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
So, yeah,
Okay.
we're good.
So which ones on the contingency list were straight cuts or reductions, I guess would be. my
Anything
question.
that doesn't have anything in the ICP.
Okay.
Do you want me to move those back up?
Yeah, what we're trying.
Just. Let me capture it on your main spreadsheet. Okay, I think we're done then.
Show me the 12 miles. Is that one correct?
Yeah, on the
12
12
mile.
mile, if you just leave the ECP money in there, I can do pretty much everything.
So that's like that.
Yeah, that'll make it so you can't do like his lop and scatter this year or his BDA work, but you can still do the burn. It
Yeah,
might not
and
even move.
I could do the burn and some cut and pile, and that would be awesome.
Okay. So some of those numbers look weird on there though.
I know, I'm not sure why the numbers.
The other ones aren't like updating correctly or something.
Oh, okay, I'll check my formulas. When I start moving rows around, sometimes it gets messed up.
Yeah, if you're on the shared copy, Eric, it's extremely
Oh,
hard to
yeah.
follow because of
Sure.
the highlighting and the formatting doesn't stay the same.
I was trying to update when I turned that.
I think we did think about that when we. This is the first time we've done the shared copy thing, and it's new.
You need like a perfect mirror.
Yeah. You could take everything and move it to and show it on another spreadsheet, all the information.
Just the
that-
format.
Okay. So I think we're good where we're at. Melissa's gonna
I'll check all the numbers.
recalculate those numbers. So in the meantime, from a budgeting standpoint, is there anything else anybody needs to bring up? I'm sure the regions aren't gonna volunteer anymore.
No, they did good though.
They did.
I appreciate
They
that.
did. And this is how we work together to figure out how we get stuff done and to Tyler's point, yeah, at the division level, we do this every year with the legislature. They just always come in like, 2% or 5%, just give us your number and sometimes they return it back or they don't, but you've already made the cut and you just deal with it. So, anyway. So what we'll do is when we get these numbers complete, we'll basically vote on and have a motion to approve that to push forward for funding with contingencies. Like I said, that we're still partway through this process. Other monies could become available that we could shift over to, and that still could change some, but everything that we, are wanting to fund here, that's going to happen. Let's see, question?
No, you said you were looking for a motion. That was my motion.
Not yet. I wasn't looking for a motion yet. Let's let Melissa finish getting your numbers. So cancel that.
Go back to your YouTube video. We'll let you know when it's time.
No, so while she's working on that, till we get to that point, any ideas on a field tour this year?
I want to see him burn Bicknell bottoms.
Right. Get lamb out there. We'll see a fire. So Daniel, remind us where we've been at on tours last 2 or 3 years, and then we've gone through a lot of projects. We've seen a bunch of stuff here today. These aren't completed; these are proposed, and there's a lot of projects that are in progress or have been completed.
Last year we were at Bicknell Bottoms, Fish Lake.
It was raining, so no fires last year.
In 2024, we went up to Thistle Creek. 23, we did Cinnamon Creek. 22, we did Monroe Mountain.
And we had to back all the way back up the mountain because the road had washed out. That was great.
Monroe's a lot different now.
2021, we did Mud Creek and Huntington Creek. And 2, we did Strawberry River and Lake Canyon.
So
all the regions kind of took a turn. So Southern did 2 here in the last little bit, but I don't know if Northeast or Southeast has any ideas or suggestions, TJ or Pat? I mean, what I was even kind of thinking about was, in 2019, we did take the council up there right after the Strawberry River burn. We took a tour of that.
Washout. Yeah.
We could potentially hit 2 regions if we wanted to hit like the Strawberry Ridge type projects, which in the central region. That's kind of some Aspen work they've been doing up there, and then go hit the Strawberry River and see what it looks like afterwards.
That would be cool.
arrange for us to get some poles in the water.
Great fish there.
Other suggestions? Regions?
Yeah, anything that the council wants to see, especially those of you that are new on the council. Just a lot of stuff happening statewide. I mean, all the stuff we've been talking about now is like, proposals for the next funding cycle. And there's so much that's already been in the works and you're probably not aware of it, but
I think we've got some new WMAs that we've acquired that might be fun for Habitat Council to go and see what that means for us to manage the land and why some of those WMA maintenance budgets are important. It also, if I don't know where we're at on the Book Cliff stuff, but like seeing, I don't know if everybody's seen like the Book Cliffs roadless area, but that might be a neat one to go and see is Habitat Council on a priority area for the division. Not necessarily, I mean, there are tons of projects out there, but
yeah. So we're hoping to close before June 31st on a big chunk of the Book Cliffs Trust Lands block. We have the legislative appropriation for that, and they're having a board meeting on May 21st, I believe, to finalize our deal there. And so any support that you all can provide or sportsmen's groups can provide, it's helpful. At that meeting, it's not a done deal. And so that is a big one for us that we're working on right now. That's was there a specific property that you were thinking of, Kobe, when you mentioned that? I mean, we've been to Cinnamon Creek a couple of times, I think.
I was thinking about, I was thinking about just the Book Cliffs in general. Like there's a ton of history there with fires in the early 2000s, a ton of habitat work, a ton of guzzler work. Has Habitat Council ever gone out there, or is that like everybody worried because that's a long ways too? So, but it's
a long ways.
We did it in
really.
Yeah.
What's that?
We did Book Cliffs in 2018.
We
so
did
it's
it
been a few years.
overnight.
Yep, we did it overnight. Stay out there. And the two new properties that we purchased. I mean, East Canyon's one, the Cook Canyon property, Cook WMA.
Yeah, Cook WMA is another one. Yeah.
I just was going to mention that Robbie mentioned last meeting, 12 Mile.
That's right.
See, that's not a new WMA, but they've done a lot of work down there.
Yeah, we could do that, or we could wait till next year and after we get the burn done, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, better to wait on that one if we can think that we're gonna actually burn there. Okay. So let's talk about.
I have to jump off, but I support whatever motion is made.
Okay.
I'll give my vote to Austin.
Thanks, Kobe. Yeah, let's look to wrap this up, and so what's the top of our list on location?
We had the Strawberry Ridge River Project, WMA East Canyon, Book Cliffs Roadless, Cook WMA, and then 12 Mile, which catch grass.
Okay, with the Strawberry Ridge.
Okay. That's not so a day trip on that, or is that what you're there?
It'd be
Just
probably
a day trip, right?
Robbie, you've done a lot of projects up there on Strawberry Ridge, right?
Yeah, that'd be a really cool one because it's right off the road, and then like you say, you could go over to the Strawberry River after that easily. So you just drive that Highway 40. You wanted to do that?
Sound all right? Wonderful. Okay, so let's pick a date. So what about, I mean, how early do you want to start, Daniel? I mean, I'm looking at the last week of June is, at least for DWR habitat stuff, is fairly open, like 24th is a Wednesday.
That won't work for me.
Yeah, I won't be here. I'll be flying home.
So it's not that whole week then, maybe.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Um, yeah. Yeah, the week before that, super booked up. So going into next week, we're getting close to the holiday week, not week, but we have June 30th or July 1st. Like I said, that's beginning or mid of the holiday week. That might be tough. 30th works.
Yeah, I'm good that day.
I don't have anything on my calendar that day.
Okay. June 30th.
That works for me. Does it work for Pat? I guess Pat would do the river, right? Or who would do the river portion?
Yes, June 30th works for Strawberry River.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's pick June 30th then. Austin?
Yep.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay. Lisa, you're not in Mexico?
Sure.
All right. Tyler?
I'm good.
All right. Okay, mark it June 30th. Daniel, if you can get a save date, send out to everybody right away.
In a few minutes.
Okay. Sounds good. More details to come. Any of the council, whether you want to go and meet at the initial location on your own, you're welcome to do that, or you can come and ride along with some of our staff that'll be going up. We can ride together.
Did that once.
Fine.
It was tough. Just kidding. I don't carpool, so I was trying.
And that's fine. You did great. All right. So where do we end up on the ICP total amount, Melissa?
ICP total amount is.
It's 201.
Okay, so Kobe's not on anymore, so we have some more room that we can work on. When you look at these other numbers, yeah, so we're in the black on sport fish, waterfowl, upland game, and red is still in big game, but we'll figure that out. But we're basically on the positive side total $1,200. So maybe we'll put that towards TJ's pipeline project.
I was gonna ask for it. I'm like, hey, if you got a little bit of money, can I have it?
Either that, I'm sure.
DJ's like, you took enough.
TJ's scared to say anything at this point.
Right.
Next time I'm just gonna lay low, not say anything. I'm gonna be there in person, and just not say a word. And we're gonna try that strategy.
Strategy.
Learn as you go.
No, everybody, coughed something up, so that was good. No, we appreciate everybody, and thank you for being here. Thank you for serving with us. Please come and be on the tour. Appreciate your time.
Do we need to do a motion to approve
Yes,
this?
we do. We need
I
to.
don't want you to forget.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, before we go, maybe pull up the WRI tours. We have 5 tours just for our regions. If you guys feel like getting out some more, we always invite the council to come along with us. So it's on our website. More information will get posted as we kind of develop the tours, but at least I think 4 of the 5 dates are set at least.
Yeah, it's one coming right up, right?
So if you want to tag along on
May
one of these,
14th. May 14th is the first one. The Northeast region.
you're welcome to join us. Just let one of our 4 of us know. Put you on the list.
And Northern Region, did they just send out the date? They sent 3 possible dates.
Sounds good. So I need a motion to make final approval for our project list.
Motion to approve.
All right, Blake, got a motion? Got a second from Austin? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, say no. All right, motion passes. We will move it forward and look forward to,
Heavy lift, everyone.
yeah, well, it's always a fun back and forth. So, thank you again for working with us. Thanks Lisa for the support. Allison and Melissa, you did a great job. AV support, if you're still hearing us. Thank you. And we are adjourned for the year. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Well.